We saved $85 by literally clicking twice and installing a free browser add-on. Honey, anytime you check
Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire Podcast. Friday night, 7 o'clock, maybe a few minutes after. That's all right. That's what we're doing. I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat. Outstanding chat. Well over 100 already, guys. Please do take a second here, guys. Tweet it out. Share it out. Call a friend. Call a neighbor. Mooch a friend if you have to. Get them into the darn chat. Let's get the show going. We've got a great show for you. Shout out to the great Doggy Dog 420 who says in the Super Chat, the Super Chat's working. Happy Friday, Mooch panel. Guys, it is going to be an outstanding show tonight. I've got an amazing panel assembled, and I've got a few people coming still afterwards, after the fact. That's how great this week is. But I want to say thank you to all the Mooch Maniacs. You guys talk to me all week long through DMs. You talk to me on PSN. You talk to me on Xbox Live. Even some of you talking to me on PC. It's everywhere. It's great. I'm telling you, I love every second of it. I want to call each and every one of them out. Shout out to the Mooch Maniacs, Longshot 316, Surex Man, Masshold 1977, Midway Monster, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Raguram Sellakkannu, Zblackrider, the Mooch Maniac, the major Mooch Maniacs, pardon me, Lou Cifer. How about that? Lou Cifer. Lucifer, great to have him here. The newest, one of our newest ones, Mark Andrew Barlow, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, Rich Kreischer, and then the VIP Mooch Maniacs. I want to say a special shout out to Rated D Demonic that while we were sitting here waiting for the show to go live, he went from major Mooch Maniac to VIP Mooch Maniac. Thank you so much, Rated D Demonic. Shout out to the great Biggie 2316, Doggy Dog 420, Percolator 9000, Marty Bison back in the VIP category, and honorable mention, a great honorable mention, Wilmy Hood and Jimmy Johns. Guys, honestly, great show tonight. Let me get to this panel because it's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's great. And it can't get this great without the one and only Crap Gamer. Crap, we missed you last week, and I plugged you all damn show.
Yeah, hey, that's good. It was still a good show. You know, it
great.
wasn't as good as if I was there.
No,
but,
it wasn't.
It was still pretty fun. I'm happy to be here and share some. You know, we had a lot of good stuff happen and a lot of stuff coming up. So it's a great time to kind of do these shows and get these opinions out there and stuff like that. So very happy to be here. Let's get going.
Completely agree, Crap. I appreciate that. And then I've got Xbot 448, who literally just passed his bar exam in Connecticut and just in time for Redmond. Thank God. Xbot, great to have you here tonight, buddy.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Mooch, I gotta say, after the conversation off air, I am so glad. I am so happy to be a console gamer, man. Yo, God. Forte, Enrique going crazy, talking about 30, 20, this, that, whatnot. I'm just happy I can put the game on and just play. What is going on, chat? Great show in line for you tonight, and let's go.
Outstanding. Shout out again to Rich Kreischer in the Super Chat. Says, thank God the show has started. Someone yelling louder than my wife. Rich, that's right. I'm glad I can help you out domestically and entertainingly. Whatever. That's not the point. And then I've got a guy here. He's on time. He's contributing. He's the man. He's on every podcast you know. But this is the one that matters. It's Gaming Forte. Forte, honestly, it's outstanding to have you here, buddy. And the wit that you have back and forth with Brap and Slow-Mo, it's pretty much priceless, buddy. Welcome to the show tonight. How are you?
Yeah, definitely, man. It's always a good time being here. Always look forward to Fridays. My boy, my partner in crime, Brap's here, so I get to yell at him one more time during the whole week. And Xbox, come on, man. I thought this whole generation that we're about to go into was about power and about what the systems can do for you. How can you get better than 3080 Ti when it finally releases? How can you get better than that, sir?
I wish you could separate from yourself and listen to the conversation you had, man. It was hilarious. Look,
I'll have both. I'll have a 3080 Ti and I have a Series X too, so I'll be able to jump back and forth, help you on Destiny when you need help, sir.
They probably should have called it Sirius X. I think that would have been taken.
They should be. That's why I keep calling it. It's a bunch of serious power.
We're gonna find out about that. Shout out to Eric in the Super Chat who says, Megaton News, Ghost of Tsushima gameplay. I think Crap would agree with that. We're gonna get into that shortly, Eric. And then I got my buddy here as well. Greatness. Great. Brap!
AAA IP. Who knew you could come out with new AAA IP this late, right?
I never would have suspected such a thing, Crap.
I know. It's like, wow, it blows my mind. Just coming from the Xbox side where you don't get anything announced in the new AAA space in 5+ years.
Yeah.
Have something this late right before the next gen.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Blows my mind. It blows my mind. Incredible. Incredible.
Sounds like Crap is making up for missing out last week as well. Like right off the bat.
That train's never late, Xbox.
We are going to actually have some Xbox Series X gameplay on this Xbox Series X gameplay special, right?
Let's hope so.
Can't do that.
Don't hold your breath, Crap.
Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. He says, hey, listen, Brap, I know you can't wait to chime in. People even think your blood alcohol level's over 1 when you haven't drank anything, buddy. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Brap, put the drink down.
Hey, you know what? I just want to say I'm very excited to be on the show today. Great panel. And
yes.
Woo!
Yes. Woo!
And by the way, it's okay to not temper expectations. It's okay to want better.
It's true. It's very true.
God. It's okay to expect good too. I mean, you don't have to always go, guys, hey, don't expect anything great here. It is nice to.
That's how
it is.
Spanish, my dude.
Fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 25 times. Shame on me.
Right. So great.
My God.
It's like when you're going to your aunt's or uncle's house. It doesn't give you a Christmas present. Your parents are like, now remember, before we get there, you're not going to get anything great. Okay?
Exactly. Hey,
all right.
Hey, Phil Spencer's that old pull my finger guy. You know it's coming, so it's not really a surprise. You're just like fine, whatever.
Fine.
I'll
pull the finger.
Good one, Phil. You got me there. Good job, guy. Come on.
Oh my God.
Put the Mr. Rogers sweater on. Go. Let's go.
That's like great. This. Well, let me tell you something. Just like this, let me go to a guy who gives me a run for my money on yelling. That's Noximus. Nox, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
It's gonna be another motherfucking wonderful night over here on CrossFire, brother.
Yes.
We got the ill fucking panel. The chat is on the money. I got the Glenn Lebitz. Let's get it. We got the topics. Let's go, bro. I can't wait.
That's what I'm talking about, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. And then last but not least, right now is our special guest. He was on last week, and I couldn't get enough. And let me tell you something. His expertise, his specialty is translating Japanese. And let me tell you something. Kofi, I'm putting you on the hot seat tonight with Ghost of Tsushima coming out and that gameplay we saw. Buddy, you are going to be front and center. Kofi, how you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm doing great. I am so appreciative that you even have me back. I'm such a, small guy amongst all these huge influencers. But yes, you guys know me as Kofi, the import gamer. Basically fell in love with the Japanese game 7 years ago. I never stopped immersing in Japanese language acquisition techniques. And now I do translations for Famitsu and Dekeki PlayStation magazines, and I post on Twitter, but I'm off Twitter because of things related to another first-party game from PlayStation, which I don't want to get attacked for. So, just excited for talking about this engine demonstration and talking about, Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, let me
Kofi, Atlas Gods. Atlas Gods.
Yeah, we could talk about Atlas. Trust me.
Listen, we're going to get into all of that. I want to say shout out to Eddie Lopez. Says, sup, Mooch? The PS5 demo was fire. It absolutely was, Eddie. And shout out to the Xbox Pope who's here, who says, shout louder, Mooch. Xbox Pope, always great to have you here. I know the show is now blessed, and we can commence. I appreciate him being here. But you know what? Let me do this much. So we do have a special guest coming in the next few minutes, and when he gets here, we'll get to our main topic. I sometimes like to save the meat and potatoes for that second or third topic. But you
gotta let people get in, man.
Let them shuffle in. By the way, you know what? Thanks for that little advertisement there, Xbox. I'm going to go ahead and let the audience please go ahead and share this out, tweet it out, let everybody know we're here. That being said, I'm going to start with this. Ghost of Tsushima revealed, gameplay revealed on State of Play. I'm going to start with Crap because, Kofi, I want to give you a second to just kind of gather your thoughts because you're going to hear questions that are going to come up between me and Crap, and I think you're going to have the answers from Crap. Ultimately,
I hope I do.
Oh, I know you do. I have so much faith in you. My point is this, Crap, when you saw State of Play, I mean, this was something kind of a big deal, right? Now the narrative's changed a bit here. Now the fans are demanding gameplay, and we got just that. We got 18 to 20 minutes of it. What was your original thought?
Well, you know what? First of all, I really like the deep dive on that, right? Like, I thought that was something that was really cool, and that we should see that more often. Especially, I'm not talking about with like little game. I'm talking about like the big games that deserve it. Your Halos, your Ghost of Tsushimas, your Last of Us 2, whatever. Like big games like that should definitely get like something like that, because I thought they did a really good job of explaining and showing off exactly what you can expect with the game. Hey, cool. Hey, I'm podcasting. Quiet down, buddy. So, basically, that's what it was really super exciting. I really thought that they did a good job kind of getting that across. For me, I was looking for confirmation that this wasn't a Souls-like game. Mm-hmm. Okay? Everybody knows that I don't like Souls games. So it was really nice to see that this isn't the case with this, almost a mix between, like a Red Dead Redemption mixed with some Assassin's Creed and some some Tenchu or something. Like it was a really good look. Like they did a good mixture of stuff.
Got some Tenchu from
that.
Yeah.
So and ain't nothing wrong with that, as Mooch would say.
Hell no, nothing. That's it. It's just enticing, is what it is.
Yeah. Now the only the problem that I had was, and I knew this right away, was when they showed this thing, the stream was kind of bad. Right, the quality of the stream.
Thank you.
And the thing that I said was, I paused mine for a little bit, let it catch up, and it looked better. But then later, I went back and watched the 4K.
It was terrible. The whole shit.
Yeah. And then I went back and watched it in 4K, and I was like, holy crap! You know what I mean? And when you start seeing the everything else with the 4K screenshots and stuff like that, I was just blown away. Like this, like how? And I'll say this, and I know people are gonna hate this. Why is it that a Sony developer can put out a game that looks like that on 4.2 T-flops, and nothing we saw running on an Xbox Series X looked comparable to that?
No.
And that's supposedly next generation. Why does that keep happening?
Nothing in development that would be coming out about this time, man.
Keep happening.
I'm going to tell you why, because Microsoft decided that they were going to say, feel the true power of next generation, and then show you Pac-Man and asteroids on fucking steroids.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, again, I was ready. Everybody knows. I was like giving Microsoft a chance. I'm like, okay, they chose to reveal their thing that way. And I'm like, this is current gen stuff, and it looks amazing. Yeah. Like, and this is the norm for PlayStation, and that's what I'm coming to find out. As somebody who really just started enjoying PlayStation as of 2018, the quality, it just oozes quality. Like, holy crap, this is like stuff that I've never seen before. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I was impressed. The graphics, the storytelling, the stuff that they think of, a black and white mode for that. Get out of here! That's amazing.
Yeah. That's huge.
Like,
yeah, hey, crap, real quick to your point about like why this is happening, and Code, who's not here yet, but he's always preaches like hardware power is great. At the end of the day, the most important thing is the tools and the talent of the developers. And and so I don't understand about, and I see people second guessing Sony. They've been doing this for 30 years now. Yeah. They have a very
it is Friday. We had to hear the 30-year thing, man. I got you.
I mean, look, they have a very talented first-party studio. To Crap's point, like, how can they
have very, very talented developers, man? I don't think anybody can absolutely deny that. And what we saw with Ghost of Tsushima looked absolutely amazing. Me, Dark, and shout out to Rage Virus from IronLordsGaming.net. We did a live stream on it, and it looked really good.
And Xbox, you like Sucker Punch Productions, right? Because you like Infamous.
Yeah. I like their attention to detail in their games, man. And I know when it came to Infamous, people were talking about like the lack of people on the street and stuff like that. But a lot of their little things when it came to their particle effects in Infamous, man, it made you feel like your character was truly like overpowered with what they had, and it was really, really cool.
But you know what's even more fascinating about this Ghost of Tsushima, or as I call it, Ghost of Tsushima, it's that Sucker Punch did the last Infamous, so they've had a couple years, not as long as Naughty Dog. And they've created this game, and I was really, and open world games aren't easy to do.
No, they're not.
And everything that I saw, and again, we still have to play the game. I joke around and say goat, because of the whole ghost thing, but it looked really impressive.
By me, bro.
Yeah, I mean they did a lot of like the waypoint. They use like this wind effect now to guide you, which I thought was really interesting.
That's unique.
I don't like the way it looks, but like I like the animal part to it. Like when the bird comes flying up,
the fox,
and brings you to a point of interest and stuff like that. I like that because what that does, instead of having like an arrow or a dotted line on the ground or anything like that, it keeps you in the game.
It moves.
Immersive.
Immersement.
It's very immersive,
and it moves the bar.
Sea of Thieves did do that first, though. You know what I mean?
They did.
They did.
They definitely borrowed.
They borrowed.
Well, listen,
but it's being implemented well.
Guys,
I like that. You know what I mean?
Developers will tell you this, and I have a special guest that's here that I want to introduce, but I do want to take care of the super chat real quick because I'm falling behind. Junos23, he says, Ghost got that Watch Dogs downgrade, it looks like. I don't know about that. Marty Bison. Well, hold on. We'll get to that in a second. No, you can rebuttal. Believe me, Xbox. Marty Bison says PlayStation's killed it this week. Xbox, who? And then I've got my buddy here. Oh, wait. Pardon me. I have two. I didn't see that one. Coco Puff says, somebody please tell Knox to turn his volume up. I just did that, actually, because I saw that ahead of time. And Strexman says, Microsoft has been around almost 20 years. There is no excuse for how they are running the ship right now, but I love Xbox. And shout out to BitCloud, who's out there, and JudaZuk. I see all you guys out in the chat. But listen, our other special guest has appeared. He is here right now. He's going to be explaining things to you. Please, I hope you have a pen and paper handy. I
have hard questions for him, by the way.
Well,
softball questions.
That's all right. Now, I want to make sure. Now, the special guest is still muted. Code, I hope you're going to take that mute off because I see the mute button is still activated. I'm going to go Optimus Code. It is great to have you here, buddy. How are you tonight?
Man, I'm doing good. Thanks for the invite. I've been checking out the show. Y'all on fire already. What's going on?
Yo, for real.
Hey,
Appreciate that, Code.
I'm coming at you. Just letting you know, man.
Well, you know what, Code, who else has not come after you? Code, listen, right? Here's what we're talking about. I didn't want to get to the meat and potatoes so you were here. So what we did end up doing is having a little appetizer here, and we're really feasting on Ghost of Tsushima. I know you probably saw the trailer. What were your thoughts on it, and what do you think we can expect from this game?
Ghost, man, yes. Excellence. Just pure D excellence, top shelf. I'm super excited. I cannot wait. And I'm really frustrated that it got pushed back because of all this other foolishness that I won't go into. I
kind of agree with you. There was a bit of me, and you guys know that I'm a huge Last of Us fan, like a little bit too much of a fan of it. But I actually wanted to play Ghost first.
I think Ghost is going to be Sony's game of the year. Too. Like, it seems to have that potential to reach even further. You know,
Ghost looks dope, but we still got to see The Last of Us. I mean, I don't care what the rumors and none of that shit says. The Last of Us is a production and a half. Yes. We still got to see what's going on there.
Absolutely, Knox. There's no now. The one
and
thing
and don't get me wrong, I love Sucker Punch. I'm sorry, Mooch.
No, it's fine.
I love Infamous.
I agree with you saying, Knox. I want to just harp on one thing Crap said that I thought that was really important, and I don't want to leave this subject until I bring it up, and I want you guys to kind of feast on it. Is that the one thing I really, really enjoyed about the what we watched yesterday or the day before? Pardon me. No, I believe it was yesterday. On the State of Play was that there are different ways to attack the game. And the main reason I'm not an Assassin's Creed fan is everyone's like, well, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's people in the chat and listening later that go, Mooch, you're doing it wrong. But, you know, they always say there's a way to do stealth. Listen, maybe this is just my bad. I think you have to be an AC-like fanatic to be able to do stealth. Some of these places you go into, the fortresses and the areas that are consumed by 75 guards.
That shit is dope. If you spec them out, that shit is dope.
It's dope.
If you spec them out, Mooch, I'm telling you just fucking be killing them stealth. I'm telling you.
I could never finish an entire area without going. I had to go in guns blazing.
Hey, Mooch, you don't have to do. You could do either way in this game, though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of excited that I got that option, but it also looks a little bit more. It's more tight knit. It's not 75 guards all staring into space. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I have a question though for you guys because I'm sure everybody here is going to probably get it. I would have never thought I'd maybe play through a game with Japanese, voice acting, but with the subtitles in English. That's how I want to play through it now. Like I had never even thought about it before. But that just seems like the more natural thing to me to do now.
Nah, I saw that shit and I was like, nah, I ain't fucking with that. It's cool that it's an option. It's cool that it's an option because Crap wants to do it, but not me, man.
Knox, Knox, I will use Sekiro, and Kofi, you probably would co-sign this. I will use Sekiro as an example. The game with Japanese voice acting and with the English subtitles is the way to go.
Same thing with Neo too. I
don't like taking my attention off the screen to have to read, man. Like,
it's not usually. I'll tell you,
but it's during cutscenes.
It's not just that. It's not a paragraph. It's generally one-liners. It's quick, and you're sitting there anyways. You know, you're sitting there anyways, kind of going through. So, I mean, my point being is that I do think it immerses you more into the story, into the history, the heritage of where they're trying to place you. Kofi, I mean, this is kind of your forte a little bit here. I mean, that don't get me wrong. I'm not telling Knox how to play it, but I will say this much because I mentioned Neo 2 and Kofi agreed with me. I will tell you that playing it through with the English translation, the voices came through a little corny. With the Japanese translation, it sounded more serious and more immersed.
Yeah,
that's the same thing that's happening right now with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm loving that game. That game is dope. That game is fantastic. But bro, I'm going through that story.
What chapter are you on?
I'm almost done with it, man.
Me too. Me too. I've been kind of taking my time with it, kind of a slow burn.
I just want to finish all the little side quests before I climb over the wall because I know it's gonna end once I do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's where I'm at. Yeah. I'm almost done. I'm just got to go back. I got to find fucking Corneo's stash, bro.
Hey, Rick, I want to chime in real quick about the one thing that really impressed me, and I for somebody that grew up watching the old like kung fu movies in black and white, you know, the Shaolin and the Wu-Tang and all that stuff, the samurai movies, but then they put that film grade black and white with the music, I thought was genius. Yeah. Like it just, I mean, and Kofi, this might hit home for you. Like the authenticity of that, and I have never seen that in a game. It just took me aback. And I'm like, wow. I mean, it seems simplistic, but the impact of it and the choice, it just took me to. It was like, wow, I'm actually going to play the game like that. Not the entire game, probably, but a lot of it like that.
So yeah, I want to just throw out something really quick. I think that will keep everybody kind of thinking about how much detail Sucker Punch has tried to put into this game. Currently, the island of Tsushima today has a kind of mix of people who live there, the residents. There are a lot of Koreans who live on this island in Japan. And so I don't live in Japan, but I like to listen to what natives think of that island today. Yeah. What do they do when they go visit? What do they think of the culture today? And there's like this conflict of there are so many Koreans who live there. It's almost like this mix up of culture. And so when gamers who are aware of that see how much happened way beyond their time, right? Mongol invasion, 1200s. They're like us. They're as blind as us to what happened back then because they're so caught up in what today is. And so now Japanese natives are looking at American developers and saying, what did you do to represent our history? That's how interesting it is. And I love that. Oh. It's really cool stuff.
No, I agree with you guys. And I kind of want to talk about how there's this discussion, and don't get me wrong, it always kind of comes up from either camp. It just depends on which game is being shown at the time. But is there a downgrade? And I think we have to kind of take a step back and understand that. And I think Code actually, who could probably speak even more to this, is that when we've been accustomed to E3 showings, or even if you're watching a trailer, you're a lot of times seeing a designed cut piece from a game that's playing on a very powerful PC. And just like anything else, guys, I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? Like when you go to a jeweler, right? What do? They don't show you. They show you the biggest rock they got in there, right? You go to the dealership. They don't have the cheapest car on the sales floor. They got the one with so many zeros. You're out of your mind to buy that, right? But it gives you that look. This is a sales pitch. So you're always going to see all these games come through with a little extra shine. I got to be honest with you. Now, Crap was right. The stream didn't do a good enough job of interpreting the game. But I didn't see, when I went back and watched a few channels that were able to render it through in true 4K on YouTube, I thought it looked pretty damn good. Code, am I onto something here? Is that just we're always going to expect that sales pitch in the early showings of any game?
Well, so first, again, thanks for having me on. And Mooch, I don't know why they let you get away with it when you was talking about stealth mode, but one thing you got to understand, Mooch, stealth is the thinking man's game.
It is.
So you might not want to, engage with that if you just want to go in guns blazing. But as far as so let me be very clear. Every dev team always wants to do their very best. Yes. Even the dev team that made the Predator hunting grounds, as trash as it is, they were working, trying to do their very, very best. Now, this notion of downgrade, that's going to be a tough call because downgrades do happen, and there is often sleight of hand at these shows to generate buzz and all of that stuff.
Right.
But you have to keep in mind that always separate the publisher from the dev team. The publisher is the one that's going to try to do
the sales pitch.
Tomfoolery. Exactly.
Absolutely.
All of that's so if the dev team is under pressure from the publisher to try to fool the public, then they certainly will. I don't know that that's happened in this case because I mean, it's just not. I don't see a reason for it. After all the last stuff with Spider-Man and all that good stuff, I doubt Sony would put Sucker Punch in a position to where they were trying to do false advertising.
Mm-hmm.
But they certainly could have had aspirational goals to make it look this way, but then not be able to make it. I don't know. So to answer your question,
I think that's exactly what happened, to be really honest with you, because when I went back and saw it, certain things like a downgrade in certain physics when it came to you're on your horse running through a field. In the very first reveal, they had like the plants in the field literally bending down and stuff like that as you're trampling over them with your horse. That wasn't in the state of play gameplay. When it came to the detail of the horse as well, when it came to the detail of the cutscenes, it was definitely downgraded as well. But when it comes down to it, the game still looks absolutely amazing. But to say that what they showed in the beginning is what they're showing now, I really can't. I won't sign my name to that because it's not.
Yeah, Xbot, I agree with you, but I think unfortunately people are taking that and using a downgrade, if you will, as a way to kind of say the game is going to be bad.
Well, it depends on the communities that you hang out in as well. If you hang out with a lot of fanboys, you're going to hear that.
Yeah,
man.
but you see that though, like it just pops up. You see that, and I think that's unfortunate because I think like what Code said, it's like we've seen vertical slices of games that like I think the most infamous one, more recent, is Watch Dogs, right, for Ubisoft, and then we saw what actually Watch Dogs was, and it's like, oh, it doesn't look like what you guys first showed. But I don't think that's indicative of a game being bad per se. But I think a lot of people are taking that, downgrade. So look at it. It means it's going to be crap.
Well, I think, Brap, I agree with you, but I think Xbox has a point. On a show like this, I think we ought to be able to discuss the pros and cons without it devolving into a fanboy conversation.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Xbox. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to say, well, if you're criticizing it, then you're trying to lead this.
No.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
that's not what I was saying, Coach. No,
the
no.
game looks absolutely incredible, but to
Enrique.
say it's what they showed at the beginning, no, there's definitely things to it. I actually have a clip of the reveal and what they showed in state of play, like side by side. You know what I'm saying? To really kind of go in. What they did with the in terms of doing like the black and white, in terms of doing a lot of other things, a lot of other creative things in the game, really makes the game interesting. I know there are people out there like, oh, the game looks easy, and I'm like, well, it might look easy, but until you try it and actually play it, you don't know how easy those shots are. Those sword swipes are gonna be when you're walking up to somebody.
Let me say something. Let me say something. As somebody who was a former like huge Xbox fan who used to claim PlayStation games were downgraded and then got served up that plate of humble pie numerous times, from Killzone to infamous Second Son to Spider-Man Puddles to Uncharted 4 downgrades to God of War like literally Detroit. All these things were claimed to have downgrades, and none of them came out to be true once that was reviewed by Digital Foundry to have any downgrades whatsoever. So I'm not going to say one way or the other that like it looked great then, it looks great now. Just different what they showed us than what we showed. Like I see people trying to hold a direct feed footage that we saw from E3 against a blurry streamy footage that we got yesterday, and of course it's going to look. I know that trick well. I used it to troll Halo, right?
Well,
you used to blur.
I downloaded 4K clips of each one. So,
but what I'm saying is that game looks great. I would not bet any amount of money on that actually being a downgraded game. I could very well have some sacrifices.
Let's be clear about the terms, right? So I think what Xbot is saying is that he noticed graphical fidelity and animations that were present before that are not present in the most recent showing. I mean, that could be
and possibly a change in the lighting, like what they're doing for the global illumination.
Maybe they have two modes. Maybe they have the performance mode and the resolution mode. True. And maybe they showed the performance mode.
Yeah, because they retroactively added that to
exactly. And so maybe if you play the full game on your OLED, on your PS4 Pro, maybe those animations will be there. Right now, it's too early to say.
Hey, Sir X-Man has a good question, guys.
Yeah, I was just about to say a question. He said, does the game look as good as Red Dead on the Xbox One X? Because it seems like that has become the new standard. I would love your opinion. That is a good question.
I would say it's right up there. I would say it's right up there with Red Dead.
Wow. I agree.
Definitely.
I agree. I thought it looked fantastic.
I gotta watch.
No, I can't say until I actually get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta wait on that one. I think
probably
it's very
all you rich guys with those OLEDs though, man, gonna be having a little bit of an advantage over me.
Somebody get crap an OLED stat.
Somebody, please, come on.
Dude, you're gonna have an alligator come out of the marsh with one like tied to its back. Like, here you go, man.
I would take it. Listen, I think it looks great. I think it's right up there with Red Dead. That was one of the few games, just being real, that I thought really stood out on the Xbox One X as looking much better than the other versions, right? Like, or the other version.
Yes, absolutely.
That was one of them. Like, bravo to them for doing that, because a lot of the stuff, which now that we're towards the end of the generation, I'm buying more multiplayer on PS4 that I had already bought on Xbox One because they're like $5 or something. Like, say the Battlefront 2s and the Titanfall 2s, you can get them for like $3 to $5. So I've been playing, and you can't tell the difference, honestly, just by going back and forth. Now, Red Dead was one that I could really tell the difference. You could tell they really went all out on them. But a lot of developers don't do that.
They don't go that extra mile crap.
Yeah, so I hope that we see a lot of that next year, where they just take time to kind of take advantage of everything that all these consoles have to offer. So
every once in a while, you get an interesting name like this, though, Enrique. Hold on. Nipple Pierced Rand and Skinny Jean says, just making sure the super chat really does work. Thank you, Nipple Pierced. I appreciate that. And Mr. Twister,
they
who's
just wanted you to say their name. That's
absolutely. I don't blame them. You have to be mentally deranged to claim downgrade. Watch it in 4K. It looks incredible. And if you think it's downgraded, wait for the PS5 version, says Mr. Twister.
But saying it's a downgrade isn't saying that it doesn't look incredible, though. That's the one thing I really don't understand. That what people are saying is what they showed at first, at least what people with level heads are saying. What they showed at first is different than what we just saw. All right, when it comes down to it, that and that right there, it's what we seen at first was a higher fidelity.
Yeah.
There was certain physics involved that weren't in what we just saw. So you would say downgrade. It's not the end all be all that all of a sudden, if there's a downgrade, the game is absolute trash, or people are saying it's not incredible.
Unfortunately, X, but that's what people are doing with that, though.
Well, that's not what I'm doing. I can only
no. I'm not saying you are. No. But I'm saying, but I think that's kind of the pushback of that downgrade argument. I agree with you, by the way. I'm just saying, unfortunately, I think people are taking that.
But you don't say there was no downgrade either, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you don't, because then you're playing the opposite side to that. No, and I'm speaking to the people in the chat as well.
No, but I don't think you can say that's a downgrade, right? Like, in isolation,
it was inferior to what I saw.
Well, sure. So what if they took away some animations, but they added 20 more frames? Like, which one is better? You can't say it's up or down. Some people will call that an upgrade because they got more
interesting
frames.
Okay, so we can say graphical downgrade then.
Well, you can just say that it's different, but how much of it has
less detailed? How about that one?
Sure. I mean, you can take your pick. The point is, downgrade has a specific connotation, right? So, like, let's say there were 20 trees in the demo, and this one they only had 19 trees. Could you say that's a downgrade because it's less? Just because something is less doesn't mean it's a downgrade. That term.
I gotta be honest with you. That is an interesting perspective. I've done a lot of podcasts, and he made a really good point. So just because
I've never heard that before. So yeah, that's a very good point. I just wanted to point out, because I just saw this on Twitter. Ghost of Tsushima stats, combined YouTube and channels, over 4 million views and 1.2 million views yesterday.
Man, you love numbers so much.
The state of play is already the most watched state of play ever. No, the thing is because I would love this. Like, E3 is a thing of the past, in my opinion. I don't think they're ever going to go back to it. This sort of thing is the wave of the future. I mean, I get it for the people that actually go to the events, but as long as we can see stuff like this on the games we like, then I think that this is a much better focus on one thing at a time type thing. Like, everybody that tuned in yesterday focused in on Ghost of Tsushima. Right. And some people were like, I didn't know it was that hot. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that whereas at E3, you're going to get hit, boom, 2 minutes for this game, 2 minutes for this game, 1:30 for this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hear what you're saying on that.
I got a question for Crab. Go ahead, Xbox.
Real quick. I hear what you're saying with that. But E3, first off, I like that it's a spot where all sorts of gamers can come together and share everything. You know what I'm saying? I like
we
that.
can't come together right now.
Another thing I feel when it comes to E3, I look at that as kind of like neutral territory where big and small journalists can go in. And if some publisher or some developer is stating something that isn't true about that they'll come out and say it and all that good stuff. And it'll be easier for that to come out and be like, yo, that's all smoke and mirrors right there. They're talking bullshit. Where if you have these companies controlling their own content coming out, it's a lot harder, especially streaming. It's a lot harder to be like, yeah, but is it really what they said it was? And it's, I look at it as a place that will keep the business side of it a little more honest than if they had control over everything that they were doing. And it's something that I'm saying when it comes to Sony, when it comes to Xbox, all that good stuff.
My whole point to this is just that that it almost reminded me of an E3 demonstration that we used to see years ago, right? Now E3 was just a trailer that we would get for the product or whatever. Before it used to be people actually playing the games, and now it's like we're getting an idea and they're explaining, okay, this is this system, this is what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? You can customize your character.
Much more detailed.
You're never gonna. They don't really get that stuff across in like a quick little. Imagine had they actually did. Remember what they did for Gears 5 at E3 last year? Yeah. It was that new mode that nobody cares about, and it was stupid. People wanted to see stuff about the campaign, the multi, whatever, and they did it wrong. Like that. People like that. If they would have done a deep dive like this, then like an 18-minute thing on the Xbox YouTube channel. That
some single player, some of that multiplayer, show a little bit of everything, and everybody be like, "Wow, this is going to be a full-fledged game."
Yeah. Exactly. And then I even saw Windows Central going, "Should Xbox copy this?" You know what I mean? Like, exactly. That's like, it makes a lot of sense to do something like this with your big games. Like, it really, really makes sense.
Enrique, I'm going to give you the mic real quick. I've got about 5 super chats real quick. True, I know you got the mic next. Shout out to True Witty. He says, shout out to D-Back. The D-Back said the Ghost was a downgrade. Again, he said, shake my head. But shout out to D. And then, Sir X-Man says, and that's why I mooch. I think he says I like mooch when it comes down to CrossFire, because I think of things no one else would ask after I evaluate what people say. So, X-Man, I appreciate you. Always do. You're a major maniac. And then I've got Sin Vendetta, the great Sin Vendetta, says, does the panel think that the rumored PS5 reveal event will be on June 4th? And Sin, listen, I'm not putting that on the shelf. I'm telling you, that's one of my topics tonight. Gamer O'Malley, it's always the same bots talking about downgrade. Gamers had it. And then I've got Failed Pyromancer, who says, I was more impressed visually with Ghosts from the deep dive than I was from the trailer shown years ago. It's been upgraded and sold me on buying it. And that's what Coach says.
Upgraded. Okay. Shout out to my brother Failed out there. That is my boy. Okay.
I got a question.
Go ahead,
Crap,
Enrique.
real quick. Hey, Crap. So I heard you earlier say that you got served humble pie.
I was. Trust me, I was one of those guys saying downgrades and this and that. None of that shit ended up downgraded.
Let me ask you something. Like, what's your opinion on how Sony's closing out this generation with 2 big AAA games? I mean,
softball right there, brother.
Yeah, not only that, but they've had, this will be 3 new AAA IPs in less than 2 years. And that's a hell of a way to end something, because you want to get people at the end of a generation hooked on your new IP so that they'll go out and buy your console and buy your stuff next generation as well. And it's like, for me personally, I'm always going to be a bigger fan of the new stuff, right? Like, I like the old, like, that's cool stuff too. I like that. But what's that new stuff? And I know a lot of people would look at this and go, oh, well, a Japanese game like this has been done before. A lot of these games that are like the Japanese games are more AA level. This is like one of the first AAA type Japanese style games that really delves into that I think people will get to experience on like that big budget type of way. And it looks fantastic to me. So for me, I think what Sony was able to do with ending a generation with that is very smart. Even Days Gone, like, look at that. Did extremely well. 6th best-selling PlayStation exclusive this generation, and they'll get a sequel. They're already working on it.
Days Gone was very underrated.
It was. Look, I'm going to blame Sony. They didn't put the day one patch out for reviewers. That's their bad. That's the 80-something. That's an 80-something rated.
That game's an 80. It's an 85 all day. Crap.
It is. So it's like they, and now look, that studio probably could have been folded if that wasn't a hit, a big seller.
Right.
And that was their first AAA exclusive in 20 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a lot of people don't realize Sony, they haven't put out a AAA since Siphon Filter.
It's been forever.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, they were working on Vita stuff, right? Right, Kofi?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
huge.
that's right.
They did the Uncharted.
And I think they worked on. I forget the other thing they worked on.
They were working on a port for that Vita game to the PlayStation 3 at one point, and then that got canceled or something, or PlayStation 4 or something like that. But actually, I do hope that gets ported one day because that was a pretty good game, and probably next to nobody played it.
Well, let me do this because we have a bunch of topics here, and we're almost an hour in with just that one. And I think everyone really kind of chimed in, gave their opinion on that. But I do want to ask here. I waited purposefully for Code to get here, and listen, I think the talk of the town has been what was revealed by Epic Games with Unreal Engine 5.
Could you do a Ghost prediction for a Metacritic?
Ooh.
You want to do a Metacritic? Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well since we got everybody here.
All right, I'll get mine first. 250.
Damn.
Code, why are you giving your age away?
Oh, man. Come on, Brap.
Sorry, Code. Code. You know I love you, man. You family, man.
It's all love, boy. It's all love.
Go.
I think 90. That's what I'm kind of hitting with that.
That's too low.
You think?
89,
Wow, really?
80,
Wow.
89, 91. 89, 91. It's going to be one of those.
Okay.
If it's low, it's going to be 89.
All right, so I'll roll call. So I got Crap, you're at a 90, 89,
Yeah.
90 for Knox. I'm going to go ahead and go to Brap.
I'm gonna go 85.
All right.
Oh.
No, that's all right. Forte, what do you got?
92.
Oh.
All right. Code, I got to go to Code.
250. I already said.
All right, that's fine. So Code's adding up three purchases. That's fine. That's fine.
Man, it's 3 games in one.
It is. Xbot, I can't wait to hear yours.
Meta who?
Oh, come on, Xbot.
What are you
Hey,
saying?
all right, Xbot.
I don't
Hold on,
partake in
Okay.
systems like
That's
that.
fair.
Man.
No, that's fair, and I have to respect Xbot, so I'm going to change the game for Xbot. Xbot, just name a number between 0 and 100.
Why?
But that's just a game.
Yeah, no.
I'm
no,
thinking
dude,
of it in
I'm
my
not-
head.
I'm not- yo, come
I'm
on,
thinking
man.
of it in my head. Go ahead. No?
I might have been born at night, but it wasn't last night,
I'll
brother.
let you fester on that. Kofi, what do you got, Kofi?
90.
Okay, I'm actually gonna go with an 88. I think I think it's gonna dip just a little below because of the open world and people going. There's a lot of these reviewers.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Why's a bird telling me where to go? Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of that nonsense. So I
The
think
wins
an
take
88.
me to a point. Why?
Yeah, that's why I said 89, 91.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a late. Right now, don't get me wrong. Anyone that thinks an 88 is a bad score, I dare you to. As Code would say, I dare you to make a game that's better. But I think that's a right. I think that's a great score. But crap, no, I'm glad you kind of said that because I think that we did an interesting little thing last week with The Last of Us 2, and everybody was kind of all over the place with scores as well. Myself personally, I think I had it at between. We were doing ranges. I said between 92 and 94. Yeah. We had a few people saying 90.
I think it'll get like a 93 or something. You know what I mean? But
right, exactly.
I think, I think probably 93. But it's like to close out with a 93 and a 90. If those are the score, man, come on, it doesn't get much more quality than that.
Who's upset? Yeah, who's going to bed? Don't drive angry. I agree completely. But thank you. Thank you for getting that. But nonetheless, Unreal Engine 5. I gotta get into this. It's such a big deal. It's a glimpse, and I know that some people get this code, and some people don't get this. I want to read a tweet that I believe came from Tim Sweeney, and I am quoting him. I believe that the Unreal Engine 5 demo on PlayStation 5 was the culmination of years of discussion between Sony and Epic on future graphics and storage architectures. The Nanite and Lumen tech powering it will be fully supported on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and will be awesome on both. So, Code, when you hear all the nonsense and the back and forth you're seeing on social media, when it comes down to it, first let me ask you: Did you watch the Summer Game Fest?
Oh, of course he watched that, man.
Well, I have to ask the question.
come
I've
on,
got to
bro.
ask the question. He is a working man. Maybe he missed it.
He came home, poured a cup of coffee and was like, yo, that's it right there.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, Code, what do you think? What was your interpretation? And then maybe you could comment on Sweeney's comments.
My interpretation of the demo itself.
The demo itself, and then there was a couple of words that were choice. They were choice words used that were saying basically the SSD was what made things capable here, and and it alluded to give part of the fans out there a bit of a rah for their console of choice. But then he comes back and says, "Let's be honest. Of course, Unreal Engine 5 is going to be on Xbox. Of course it is. I mean, it's a no-brainer." So, I mean, what was your take from what you saw and then those comments?
All right, so you want the lie or you want the truth?
We want the truth. We want the truth.
I can handle the truth.
All right, so the truth, number one. So of course I've seen the demo and it was fabulous. And I don't know if y'all follow me on social media or not, but I'm not one of them people that cry about 30 frames per second.
But Code, it was only 1440p.
Man, I don't give a fuck. Man, let me act. So here's the thing. So first and foremost, they said that same day, like the same day that the demo released, they were talking to PC Gamer, and they said very clearly that this demo could run on a 2070, but it can't run like that. And that you would get lower performance if you tried to run it on something other than a PlayStation 5, but that the system could scale down. Okay. So he said
Code, say that again, because I don't think people heard that.
Oh, in PC Gamer, he said very clearly that the demo could run on a 2070, but it could not run like that. That the game would get lower performance. I think he said like decent performance or pretty good performance.
Yeah, pretty good performance. Like that. He said pretty good.
Pretty good performance. And then they said, well, what about an NVMe SSD if we get one of those? He said, same, like it won't be like that, but you still will get awesome performance. So here's what's happening. Sweeney is building a product, Unreal Engine, that he wants to sell to every dev team that he can. And he wants to sell it to people that are building games for PC, for Xbox, and for PlayStation. He has to be diplomatic and let people know that, yes, you can build games to run great on any platform using our engine. However, he is being very honest when he tells you this demo, and it's not to say you can't use their engine to build something better than that demo. So people are confusing the demo and the engine itself. That demo is just one thing that was built from the engine. Talented dev teams could build something 10 times better than that demo. So don't get distracted by that demo itself. All he's saying is the way that we built this demo cannot run like this on any other system, but the Unreal Engine and this demo can also look great on other systems because he has to make sure that he's not limiting his base of users to buy his product. So the truth is that demo was tailored for the PlayStation 5. He even tweeted about it, I don't know about an hour ago, 5:33 p.m., so about 2 hours ago. He tweeted a very similar thing. Someone asked him, Tom Warren on Twitter asked him, why did they choose the PS5 and not a PC? Was it due to SSD performance?
Yeah.
And here's another person confusing IO throughput with SSD again. That's so annoying. Anyway, Tim says systems integration and whole system performance, bringing data in from high bandwidth storage into memory in its native format with hardware decompression. That's why they chose the PS5 and not a PC to do this demo. So clearly the PlayStation 5 has advantages, but he can't harp on those advantages too much because he's hurting his own product if he does.
Absolutely, and very well said. No, he's right. And I just said, quick shout out to Sir X-Man. He says, sorry, Mooch, zombie games are dying like Battle Royale. PS, just like Stadia. Leave Stadia out of it. And I do want to just quickly go over, and I have a good friend of ours here, Jason Lewis. He says, I think everything I think what wasn't designed was around the Decima engine, hence the fast SSD. It only renders what's in front of you, and with Quixel Next Gen for the win. Well, there you go. I got a question. Code knows that. I don't. Go ahead.
I got a question. What that is?
That makes two of us, Code.
Yeah, I got a question for Code. So, Code, this week on Brap, you said something very controversial. You said you said when we first started the show, you said it, and Forte was there. He could attest to this. You said the real question is why no one's asking is why this demo version of the demo, and emphasis on this version of the demo, can't run on the Series X.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, how is that possible when the Series X is, more powerful?
Well, it's more powerful. It's more powerful. Here we go. It's
gonna run on the Series X.
It's more powerful in one category where the PlayStation is in another.
Yo, Chucky, can you hear me?
No, go ahead, Code.
I heard Xbox.
Yo, I thought I lost internet real quick, man. Damn.
Yeah, go ahead, Code. Go ahead. I mean, because that riled up a lot of people. You said that. So
I said it, and I stand by it. So look, man. So like Mooch said, they both have different strengths and weaknesses. And I guess the best way to put this is, I'll use the Mario Kart example again. For all of y'all real gamers, y'all know about Mario
Pancake
Kart.
Chef.
And y'all know that. Well, I won't use the Pancake Chef. I'm gonna use the Mario Kart example. Donkey Kong is by far one of the 2 fastest racers in the game, and it's not even close. And if you are on a track with a bunch of straightaways, you would be a fool not to use Donkey Kong because he is by far the fastest, but he has the slowest acceleration.
Yes.
But he is definitely faster and more powerful than any other racer. He bumps into you, he'll take a coin. He's just more powerful and he's faster. Somebody like Yoshi, he's nowhere near as fast, but he has really quick acceleration. If you are on a track with a bunch of tight turns and very few straightaways, even though Donkey Kong is more powerful, he will not be as good as Yoshi on that particular track because that track was built to take advantage of Yoshi's strengths. This particular demo was built to take advantage of the PlayStation 5's strength, which is the high-speed data streaming of assets at their native resolution. This is not to say that they can't build another demo using Unreal 5 on the Series X that also looks phenomenal. It'll just look phenomenal in a different way.
Right.
This demo can't run like that on the Series X, and it's because it just doesn't have the IO throughput necessary to pull those 8K assets, film quality.
So Code. Go ahead, Forte. Go ahead, Forte.
I was gonna say, let me ask you such, Code, because when I read that article, I was kind of just thinking about this. Why do you think they only limited that to 2070s? When it came,
I don't know, because that was the interviewer, right? Like the person that interviewed him asked him, could it run on a 2070?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah, because last time I checked, these systems are supposed to be outputting something closer to 2080.
2080 Supers, yeah.
Yeah, so why are 2070s the benchmark for a system that can hit 2080? And I think if that would have been more of the conversation, more of the comparison, then it would be like, okay, I get it. Because I'm like, wait, first of all, we're talking in a realm where 2080s are king right now. Yeah. So if you telling me that this can't be done on a 2080, then I'm like, okay, that throughput on that system is really pushing that, because a lot of people are saying where the Xbox comes in, it is getting closer and closer to that 2080 setting. So that kind of just throws a little bit of mothballs in the whole situation, because I agree with you 100%. I think this whole demo was built with PlayStation in mind.
That's Sony money, man. That's what it came down to.
I think Tim Sweeney said that in his quote. He said that we've a culmination of years discussing between Sony and Epic. So that's not anything they're hiding.
Yeah, PlayStation went into that scenario, said, hey, we want you to showcase. We're basically going to scratch each other back. I want you to, you're going to show off your brand new engine, and we want you to show it off on our system. How can we, and Tim Sweeney, look, how can we do that? What is the number one thing PlayStation has that can really shine on our engine that nobody else has?
Absolutely.
And that was it.
100%. They built a track specifically for Yoshi.
Or and they did such a good job, because for the first time, I'm excited about like what things are going to look like next generation. Like so far, hadn't been very super impressed with what we've seen. We haven't really seen much, but even the in-engine quote stuff that we saw, I wasn't really like, whoa. This was something where you see something, you actually can see them play it, whether it's a demo or whatever, and the people are actually playing it, and you're like, whoa, that's a huge. And the one thing that I said right away when I saw this, I was like, I have no idea what resolution this is, but I think this might make it to where resolution is completely nonsensical fanboy point next gen. Because
resolution was nonsensical between 1080 and 900. Let's be real, man.
Well, I mean, that's another thing. Well, really quick, Optimus, can you speak to this really quick? DLSS. Can you tell us what the significance of that might be in this next generation and how resolution may become a blurred line? I don't really have better language.
Blurred line, my foot to be obsolete. So look here, man. So the whole point of DLSS, and Kofi, I think you already know the answer, but it seemed like they won't listen to you if you tell them, man. But you know just as much about this as I do. So DLSS, the whole point of it is it uses machine learning, and there is a neural net running on the GPU, which basically says, hey, instead of calculating all 4,000 pixels in a 4K image, why don't you only compute 1080p for the native image? And instead of you doing all of your math and all of your shaders on 4,000 pixels, we're going to divide that by 4. So it's going to be a fourth of the effort. And the computer, the AI on its own, is smart enough to produce a better image at 1080p than if you had processed all 4,000 pixels, because the machine has learned how to upgrade the image without having to process every single pixel. And it works great. And resolution is going to be a thing of the past, because you literally can have a 1080p image that looks better than a native 4K image with a much higher frame rate with higher settings.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I think everybody's got to take what Code's saying, and even what you're reading online, and understand that this generation, this is what I was going to say before Forte asked his question. And my question, Code, you can either answer this or it can be rhetorical. My point is that as we go into next generation, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, and it's not to take a side, but we're not going into 2013, guys. We're going into 2020, 2021 as far as technology goes, right? And my point being is that next generation won't be measured on raw horsepower. That's what we did in 2013, right? To get those extra pixels, just to get that little bit of oomph back out there. Man. But we're not doing that this time. This time, no matter how you slice it, 10.3 or 12.1, both of those machines are going to be capable. Not all games. They're capable of 4K 60 if they wanted to with a particular type of game. I'm hearing from Code. I'm hearing from the Tim Sweeneys. You're hearing from Phil. You're hearing from Sony. You're hearing from Cerny. They went out and spoke to these developers. It's not necessarily, I think a lot of people are starting to tell me that next generation is not, they're going to dip back from the 4K. I'm hearing 1440p and 60 frames would be more realistic than the 4K 60, right?
Hey, Mooch, that's exactly what's going to happen, Mooch.
Yeah, real quick, Mooch. It's going
to upscale to 4K.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Mooch, when we had John Lindemann on from Digital Foundry on BRAP, he alluded to that. He actually said that, what Code just mentioned, you could take a 1080p image native and make it look 4K. And he mentioned things like DLSS 2.0, the temporal upscaling and the Unreal Engine, which is supposed to be phenomenal. That you could do that now, and that developers will do that and put resources elsewhere. So
absolutely,
and so like this native 4K thing, it's going to happen. But I don't think it's going to happen as much as people think it's going to be. I think developers are getting very savvy, if you will, and very creative with how they divert resources and how they get to that, what we call the plethyon of 4K. It's not going to be that.
Here's the thing, Brap, and you are 100% correct. Everything you said is correct, but keep in mind, always there's two. So there's the developers and then there's the publishers. And so here's the problem. Well, I don't know problem. Here's the situation. Problem is probably too strong of a word. These console makers, the platform owners, Microsoft, Sony, they have to have a marketing pitch. And right now, the public at large is really upgrading to 4K TVs. Netflix is 4K content.
Yeah.
So the buzzword is 4K. And when people upgrade their devices at home, they look for things that can get them that new image stuff that they just upgraded for. So everybody's going to want a 4K gaming system, 4K Blu-rays. Everybody's going to want 4K Netflix option.
And the other pitch there, Code, too, is that smart delivery nonsense. Because that's
that's going to play into. Yeah,
that's a pitch too, where you got the 4K TV and all that now. Now you're gonna want the bells and whistles on the X. You got to pay an extra $25. Nah, bro. I'm not gonna pay to switch the game from medium to high settings. You know what I'm saying?
Smart delivery is the opposite of smart delivery.
Smart delivery is an Xbox thing that's free. Actually,
it's free. It's free. It's free.
Party like
it's free.
EA,
Okay, all right.
Activision.
It's still a cop out. Microsoft says it's free for first party. Sony hasn't said shit. I'm gonna assume they say the same thing. Right. But still, they're giving the liberty to third party developers to say, well, if you want this, you got to pay for it.
That's a good point.
That's bullshit.
That's a good point, because what Knox is saying is
that's not on them.
But that's the thing.
It is. It's a scapegoat. They're just letting it. They got to put it on.
Well, you know what? Hold on, wait.
They got to make that shit mandatory.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Xbox. Hold on. Knox makes a really good point, and these are things we don't talk about anymore because the rationale and the thought process has changed. But back in the day, you asked like Nintendo and Code, back me up on this. Nintendo told third party what they wanted, or you're not coming on their console.
Yes, they did.
Okay, that's what they told them, and that's what I don't understand. Well, no, wait. Before you say wow, I mean, listen, it's fine that you want to play Mafia 3 on your PC, but let me tell you, Mafia 3 probably sold a lot better on console. So
why not hold the source accountable though?
The source is the developer. You have to tell them what you're going to intend to do and what they need to do.
The source is the platform holder, because developers want to put their shit on that platform.
That's not the source for the game that you're talking about. Where
they're giving them a couple. If they tell them, look, you want to put your game here, you gotta adhere to these rules. They just gotta do it. That's it. It's gotta be 4K 60, whether it's upscale 4K.
Wait. I got a question. Code. Is that true? What these guys were saying? Like what?
So there is no absolute true or false, right? So it's going to depend. So somebody like Epic, they pimp hand is strong. So you're not going to dictate to them what they can and cannot do.
That's right.
Somebody like Rockstar, they pimp hand is too strong. You're not going to dictate to them. There are some people, yes, where you will be able to mandate, and that's what I'm getting at. So what will happen? So it won't work that way. You won't go to the dev team and say you got to do this or that. What happens is the publishers want to sell as much as they can. They want a marketing message as well. And so it's up to the dev team to either meet the expectations set by the publisher and the platform holder, or to reset them early. So they need to come out like right away and say, hey, this game is not going to be 4K. Otherwise, it's going to be a bunch of backlash like Knox is saying.
Right.
Knox, there was a time when what you said is true. The world has changed, man. It's a much different place.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Game creators, they understand their value now much more than they did before.
Right.
Okay, but they do not have the luxury or the
option. But they can always go to the PC for free. Oh, and then they don't have to pay nobody nothing but pay Epic.
Where for free? I didn't hear you.
PC. They can develop on PC for free, and they just have to give what.
Right, but they're not going to reach the broadest audience by doing that, though. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, console gaming is where it's at. So
not necessarily, because they could take a bigger piece of a smaller pie.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. I said this.
It could be, but it could work both ways.
When we used to talk about this years ago, when Microsoft started this whole, like, we're going to let the devs do whatever they do. And I know, and Code, don't get me wrong, I understand that this is the world you come from. So just sit back and listen to it from a consumer standpoint. I thought that was dangerous. And I think that's alluding to be true now. Because what you said a second ago, Code, couldn't be any more but truer than what you said. The fact of the matter is that now the developers know their worth, and they know their stance, and they know their strengths. And now they have the hand over the platform, where it was reversed prior to this generation for the most part, especially even PS2. You know, PS2, Sony told them what to do. Before that, it was Nintendo, Sega. They told them what to do. And, you know, it's funny. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm not. But what happened was it went from power and authority on the platform side to power and authority on the dev side. It's equally as bad. And
I don't disagree with
I
that.
wouldn't even say the dev. I would say it's more the publisher, like Optimus was saying. Like they're the ones that are trying to get the most money from that title that's coming out.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Xbot. Let me just finish my point because I can see where Code would say I don't agree with it. The reason I'm asking you to step out of, take your dev hat off and put your consumer hat on.
I'm just a regular person again.
Yes, right. So now you and I we both went out, we both bought $500 consoles, and there's a lot of people that feel like they bought a console that's not performing to what the platformer told me it would do. And that's because they let the power go to the developer. And it's not that the developer's wrong, but the thing is this, no matter some customers, not I necessarily, some customers feel duped. They bought this all out 4K 60 frame.
True.
Right. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the devs are to blame. No, they're making the best product that they can make. I get that. But the problem is that you have now they've literally Superman 2'd themselves, right? They got into the chamber and they pushed it. Now all the power's on the other side of the crystal. So thank you for getting that code. Now so I'm not saying one's better than the other. This is an equal problem on both sides of the coin. And I called this with crap years ago. I said, I don't like that they're giving the devs this much power.
Hey,
Mooch.
Let me just say something real quick.
I just want to say,
I'll tell you real quick.
Smart delivery.
Hey, real quick.
Are we still talking about smart delivery? That's all I'm asking.
Real quick. Hey, real quick. I just want to say, Mooch, we don't have these. Hey, dude, come on, man. Really? Maturity? Come on. You interrupt all the time. Mooch, here's the thing. We don't have this problem on the greatest gaming platform, PC Master Race. That's all I gotta say. Go ahead, Xbot.
All right, Xbot, the floor is yours.
I'm just wondering if we're still talking about smart delivery and the fact that with the new systems, you would get downloaded the new bells and whistles for the game that you might have bought previous generation, because when it comes down to it,
there's a lot more to smart delivery than meets the eye, because that's an incomplete picture. So number one, just because smart delivery exists, it doesn't mean that a dev team is automatically going to make an upgraded version, right? So smart delivery doesn't mean any game you buy now you will get the Series X version for free. Because
that's not what I'm saying.
But there is no Series X version. Is it there only one version that can then be escalated?
That's my question. Is it going to have its own?
That's how they've been marketing it, right? It'll run like shit. It'll run like shit on the Fat, and it'll run great on the X and the Series X. Now they're trying to charge for it.
Okay, now hold on, guys. Hold on a second. Code, I want you to answer that. Crap and Knox both have that. Let me just take care of these super chats. I got a bunch of them. Jason Lewis answers a question from way back. He says, Quixel is what UE5 uses for the assets. I got a few here, guys. Just give me a second because I do want to pay attention to the super chat. Phil Pyromancer, who comes out and he says basically, hold on, I apologize. There's so many here. I have to scroll all the way back up. I'm so sorry. Hold that thought, Code, because I know you can't wait to answer. I'm so far behind. True Witty says, G Gaming said that the tech demo wasn't gameplay. Well, we're back onto that again. JB Golden says, don't know why people are surprised about the tech demo. They did a UE3 tech demo on the PlayStation 3 and a what was it there? Unreal Engine 4 tech demo on the PlayStation 4.
The Samaritan demo.
True. Very true. And then Cake Batter says, when will frame rate for consoles stop being a developer choice, unlike the gamer choice on PC? I think that'll come up in the next generation even more. We saw it on some games.
Game on PC.
And I've got to say, shout out to the Asha Luca. The Asha Luca's here. Hashtag My New York. She says, ready for this, Code? Cover your ears. F them devs. Can't believe they're making me switch to PC. Shake my head. And she runs out. Luca, thank you for being here.
Luca needs to go to PC. So keep telling her.
Shout out to True Witty again. True Witty says smart delivery is just a glorified name for cross-buy.
That is also false.
Wow,
each one of these things has been false. So let's start with cross-buy. Cross-buy is if you got it on a Vita and the game is on the PlayStation 3 and the game is on the PlayStation 4, then when you buy it for either one, you get it for all of them. That's what crossplay is. but that game exists at the same time for all of them. That is not what smart delivery is. Smart delivery is if you buy a game right now for Xbox and there is no Series X version of it, and they remaster it later and improve it, you will get that remastered version for free. That is the exact opposite of what Sony does with crossplay or cross-buy. Cross-buy will not give you a free remaster when the game is later remastered. Cross-buy gives you the game if it already exists on all of the platforms at the time that you buy it. So if you would have bought The Last of Us, well, it wasn't out when The Last of Us first dropped, but if Shadow of the Colossus, they just did a remaster, which is also way before. But as an example, if Shadow of the Colossus was on the Vita and it was on the PS3, and if you bought it for the Vita, you would get it for the PS3. If they later made it and remastered it for the PS4, you don't get it. You have to buy that because cross-buy is only when the games exist at the same time already on each platform. Smart delivery is the exact opposite. Is when they make a game later and improve it, you get that remastered version for free.
Yeah, and I hope
but
True
there is no guarantee. Yeah, so number one, people have to opt in. You don't automatically get that. So if people don't opt in, then you still will end up having to pay for it. So it's not just like you automatically get it if it exists. Only certain games. And Mooch is like what you said, well, you're letting these devs and these publishers decide, then the platform is an inconsistent message. That is true. And then it's also the case that even if they do opt in, there's no guarantee that there will be a remastered version. So there will reach a point where smart delivery will go away because after 2 years in, whatever they said, they're going to stop support for the older consoles. At that point, smart delivery won't even be a thing anymore because they're only going to support games on the new console going forward. But smart delivery is free if they got the game remastered and if the publisher has opted into it.
Okay. No, and thank you for explaining that. Now, I did cut off a few people. Forte, you were about to say something. Knox and Crap had asked a question earlier, the code. I want to shout out to Sir X-Man. Says, I wish more people wouldn't fight over games. And who does this? And does that because almost 40-something years ago, we almost didn't have video games. We should appreciate what we have today and enjoy. Sir X-Man, thank you for that. That's
Man,
a very...
you telling me. I'm from them days.
That's right.
Hey, Code, you remember E.T. killed the industry?
Yeah, I do. Stop.
I mean, we used to buy games, based on the cover art. So
True. Facts.
Let me ask this question to you guys because it kind of correlates really well with this whole Unreal Engine 5 thing. It's another subject I had in our topics. What are the advantages to both the XSX and the PS5? And I know that this seems like it is directly pointed at Code because he's got the pedigree and the background to answer this. But I mean, I guess from me, again, coming from a consumer standpoint, there's a lot of people out there, not the people in the chat, not the people listening later, not the people on the panel. I understand that we're probably all buying both. I get it. I got it. But this show is also to kind of take a look at it from a broad view. And the one thing that I look at it and I say, okay, Xbox has come out and they have got a brute force machine. There's nobody denying it. They're the most powerful console, etc., etc. But now I'm hearing things like from Tim Sweeney and I'm hearing things from other developers that have come out and they're saying this thing. And let me tell you something. I have no idea to a certain extent, but the SSD seems to be a big difference. I guess, Code, I'll start with you, but then I want to ask Kofi as well what his expectations are. If I'm buying an SXX and a PS5, I have both of them sitting there. What is the clear advantage to a PS5? And what is the XSX going to give me? Because what I am understanding from Cerny's discussion and deep dive and the analysis from Digital Foundry and others that have done deep dives on the SXX is that basically 4K 60 was what Microsoft's going for, hardcore, but the PlayStation 5 is fully capable of doing that too, plus some. So am I wrong in understanding that what is it the Xbox Series X is going to give me that the PlayStation flat out can't do, and what can the PlayStation 5 do that the Xbox Series X flat out can't do? What are the clear differences here for a consumer with only $500 in his hand and can only buy one?
All right, so you probably should let Kofi go first because you're not going to like my answer.
All right, well, Kofi, what's your take on that?
This is also at least on the Xbox side, it's hard for me to answer. One thing I took away from the demonstration for the Unreal Engine was the talk about migrating assets without having to reduce their actual graphical fidelity. For people who aren't aware, a lot of designers use a tool called ZBrush. It's a great way of either using art or a ways to create items that you will then import into the game. And what they were talking about, what you saw with this character walking into the temple and seeing all these structures, and how they were bragging about how quickly these assets were being moved into the game. And I believe the name of the physics engine is Nanite. Yep. I was very impressed by that. I've dabbled in ZBrush. I don't do game development. I do development, but I'm not going to claim any knowledge of that. But what I do know is that dealing with having to migrate items and downgrade their visual fidelity because you don't have enough memory or capacity to fulfill your vision is disappointing. And I think when you see something like this, I think developers, like actual developers right now, are sitting there like, oh my gosh, Unreal 5 looks dope. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. But they can't talk maybe because they're held by NDAs or whatever. On the Xbox side, I don't know enough. I'm not gonna. What I'll say in advantage for the Xbox is slip space. I feel like 343 and their 400 employees or whatever they've been doing can take advantage and do something that's going to make people go, oh, well, can a PS5 exclusive do that? I think that slip space is it is the last push to revive Halo as a franchise. I'm not a Halo fan, by the way. I love Halo Combat Evolved, but I'm looking to be blown away.
So Kofi, you're saying the sales pitch then is what 343 has developed with that new engine is specifically something that the Xbox Series X would be able to run and no other console.
I would hope in the future. Now we know that slip space is going to run on like 2013 Xbox Ones. So this particular launch of Halo Infinite is I'm not confident that it will completely blow my mind. But I think moving forward, slip space could evolve into something that PlayStation 5 might be at heavy competition with. Maybe. I think it's a possibility.
Okay, well now that I've had a couple of shots. No, I'm only kidding. No, Code. I guess I'm ready for your answer.
All right, so from my point of view, it's a pointless question because you don't buy a fucking console based on specs.
Absolutely.
If you only have $500, what you do is you look at the games that are available for the competition. Look at the games that are available for the other one that you want, and you pick which one has the best game.
Code. That's logical. I get that, but I mean, tech-wise, what is it that the PlayStation 5 can't do?
Trash. You look at the dev team and talent. You look at the skill of the developers, the tools that's available, and the content that they are producing, and that's how you make your decision. Because what we couldn't, for example, when JavaScript
but that's not fair though.
No. When JavaScript first came out, JavaScript was a toy language that we used just to make animations on a web page. Now our civilization runs on JavaScript. So what it was intended for in the beginning, once a bunch of smart people get to it, you don't know what they can make it do later. And that's the point of the Pancake Chef example. All of this spec stuff is nothing. Once they get it in their hands, right now, on paper, the Sony SSD is great. And it is a far leaps and bounds beyond what the Series X has.
But what about the I.O.? What about the I.O.?
Yeah, the I.O., the whole complete I.O. architecture, the SSD tech, the controller, everything that's involved. But once people get to working on the Series X, and they look at, okay, we got extra GPU power here and compression here. Well, maybe we can accomplish this same thing with less speed by doing more stuff here. And then before you know it, maybe they can do stuff faster. We don't know.
That's fine, Code.
On paper, it's just paper. It's just specs. That's why we have benchmarks in real life.
I love you.
Everything looks great on paper, but you have to wait till the talent gets their hands on.
But the thing he said that he's saying you go by the games, the developers, this and that. Well, we all know that the past 7 years, even Xbox fans will say, even if they had their favorite Xbox game, this has been a bit of a lackluster generation for Xbox. I think even Phil said we're trying to do better. So my point being is, if that's the case and that's where you're going out, you've already sold people on a PS5 there. But then when you say things like, well, when they find out they have that raw power and they have that extra GPU power to grab and do this and that, maybe we can do with the SSD. SSDs doing on the PlayStation 5 by doing this and that. That sounds exactly like the Xbox One era when they were trying to compensate for their DDR3, right, that they had in place of GDDR5. They were like, well, we got the ESRAM in there, and then we tried to get that in there, and that was supposed to compensate for this. I don't want compensation to take the place.
We've got a very good super chat.
Okay, Mooch, that was false what you said, because there's not they. I'm talking about the dev team and the talent, and you're talking about the platform owner that's trying to peddle their product.
Well, I went from the dev teams to the platform because ultimately, at the end of the day, remember, Code, what you said is 110% right, is that we don't know what they're going to be able to do with these machines down the road, but nobody's got a crystal ball at the GameStop register, right? Nobody's like, oh, look, this one's going to be great in 6 years. So
people right now are buying based on faith, and if you only have $500, you shouldn't be in that category.
Ooh. Well, that's a different. That's a different situation. Let me do a couple. Well, you know what, Forte? I want to get your 2 cents. Let me get the super chat. I'm gonna go to Forte. Fail Power Mister says, "Optimus, explain it again. I didn't get it." That's just him messing with you. By the way, I'm pretty sure it's his humor. And then I've got Junos 23. He says, "If you only have $500." You get an Xbox Series X, comes with Game Pass, a.k.a. over 150 games out of the box, including all first party. Sony has no answer for Game Pass. And then Mr. Miracle comes back and says, digital game purchases have officially crossed 50%, further locking people into their current gaming ecosystem. No one will abandon their library. I'm a little bit with Mr. Miracle off the cuff because when I'm going to spend money where you have, the average consumer will end up, if you have 100 games on PlayStation 4 and those games are coming with you, that same thing goes for Xbox, that's probably where you're going to go ahead and move forward. I think this is that kind of generation.
Well, the biggest, when it comes down to it, the biggest consumer kind of like pool is what people like to label the casual gamer.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, like I know Mooch has said this, a couple people on the panel and special guests have like, these are people that only buy like a couple games per year. They don't really have a lot in their library then. They're there for, they're talking about the casuals, NBA or Madden or that category right there. Then it's going to come down to something different. Then they're not even going to consider that. And when you look at Xbox, for one thing, Optimus, I will say that thing about that $500, that will be the quote of the night, man. Like if you only have $500, you're buying a console on faith. You shouldn't be there doing that at that point in time. I definitely agree with that. What Xbox is trying to kind of like hope on, first off, we got to see launch lineups for both of these consoles. Exactly. I think we all want to see what the hell is going on with these systems, especially first party, because they are so intimate with the hardware when it comes down to it. But Xbox is also, they're gonna be promoting Game Pass as well for the people who are on the fence. And it's like, well, here, if we give you 3-6 months of Game Pass in the box, you have all these games just ready to download and play. I think they're going to use that as a marketing tool.
And why wouldn't they? should do that? That's a great idea.
That's what blow, man. That's what they should have done with this inside Xbox nonsense. No, because listen. If they would have just came out and been like, "Hey, check out Xbox Arcade games on the Series X. Check the power of how these little games going to be."
Brother,
right, cool.
Brother, nothing was wrong with that inside Xbox besides the marketing. Marketing about it, man.
They promised something that they didn't fucking deliver.
That's the marketing about it. That was the hype behind it,
and that's exactly what I'm saying.
They didn't put that hype behind it.
They should have said, "Hey, we're going to show you Pac-Man and Asteroids, baby, running on the Series X."
Nothing scoring is Pac-Man and Asteroids, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's the equivalent.
Yeah. Well,
Scorn? Oh my God!
Metaphorically, but come on, you already.
This is gonna get interesting. Crossfire is about to get interesting. I just want to read the super chat. Shout out to Royal Boyle 78.
The whole show is interesting. What are you talking?
I love the show. It's great, but I'm biased nonetheless. Royal Boyle 78 says, Optimus, the X had more power than the Pro, and it meant zero. Why would it make a difference next gen? Games is the key, my friend. I think Code agrees with you on that.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
Crap, what do you got?
You missed a good super chat from JudaZuk. He says, is it just me or is no one talking about xCloud anymore or Stadia for that matter? Is streaming dead or have just media stopped caring? I think they're finding the hard facts that a majority of hardcore gamers don't give a fuck about streaming.
The shit just doesn't work, my dude. Even when you put it on a good connection and it's running, the input lag from the buttons from the controller, it's terrible. It's
all right.
horrible.
I can't speak for Stadia here, but when it comes down to it, we are on the verge of getting the launch lineups and everything from new hardware. That's where big gaming media is right now. When it comes to xCloud, and like I said, I can't speak for Stadia. Yo, Xbox is really happy. If that's the side dish there, it's like, oh, yo, we got all this going on.
I agree.
And then xCloud on the phone, like, oh my goodness.
I agree. So number one, xCloud is not aimed at the hardcore gamers in the first place. So that's number one. It's aimed at the mobile crowd. And number two, streaming is going nowhere. It will be here, and it will be the dominant force. Maybe not in our lifetime, but it's certainly going to be the number one.
That's
way
what
to
Code, those are the words I said.
But people say that it caters to the casual, but they don't market it to the casual, so it doesn't make sense, bro.
Well, they do, because right now you got to have a phone. Like, you can only use it on your phone. A hardcore gonna want a console that they can actually hook up to.
But how are they gonna find out about it? They're only promoting it to the hardcore so that we could test it out and try it out. They don't market it.
Gotta start somewhere, bro.
That's what I'm saying, though. They do market it to the fucking hardcore.
The whole thing with it.
Last time I checked, it's in beta as well. Like, it's not even out there.
So Stadia, but the whole thing is they talk about this 2 billion quote unquote gamers, and it's never like new gamers that are getting brought into this, because if you look at what you need to use this on a phone, it's a phone that's more expensive than the consoles, right? Like the stuff that you got to use. I mean, yeah, but again, the thing is, and this was my stance for a long time. Do people, when they're out, do they want to carry a controller with them and batteries? Right. Are they playing Witcher 3 on a phone? No, like the people that I know that game on phone, they play like those little fast phone games for 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? They're not.
That's shit you do on the bus or the train, bro.
Developers are also working with controls on the screen as well.
And another thing I'll say is, like, this stuff has been failing for the last decade. Like nobody's.
I feel like I definitely think y'all throwing shade at streaming, but I don't know why. What y'all probably streaming?
No, it's just.
No, wait a minute. Well, wait.
It's not throwing shade. It just doesn't function well now.
Right.
You got to be realistic about it. That's it. It is what it is, bro.
Okay, wait. I don't agree. I'm sorry, Forte. I don't agree with it.
Clear the way.
Because it doesn't work now doesn't mean it's not going to work later. The internet didn't work in 1995.
Okay, but we're talking about it now, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it doesn't mean that it won't work later. I mean, it will work later. I mean, as technology,
it's only in beta right now.
Yeah, like we have examples of this.
I'll check it out later then. I guess.
Forte, your mic is low. I can hear you trying to talk, Forte, but your mic is like real low.
Yeah, Forte, your mic's real low, man.
But let me see if I can Forte louder. Now, Forte, I got you on blast already. I'll try.
They were saying the same thing about me. I don't know if it's
no, Knox, you're loud. Forte was
I've heard Knox loud. I haven't heard.
Yeah, Knox very loud. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I wouldn't say that.
I got Forte on 200%. You're good, Forte.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's that because it doesn't work well now, that it won't work well in the future. I mean, we're still early on in the process, or version 1.0, of streaming. I mean.
No, and it's true, Enrique. You're absolutely correct. But I'm just saying that if we gotta call a spade, it just doesn't work well now. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it doesn't have the potential to work well in the future. It just it may have.
I think,
but it's not cutting it right now.
I think Code said it. Believe it or not, what Code said, it falls in line with what Crap, Knox, and what Brap is defending. He kind of said it. First of all, here's the thing. It's not for us necessarily right now. For us streaming, whether it's xCloud or Stadia, whichever one you pick right now, for us hardcore, it's kind of like a luxury, right? Take your game on the go if you want to, but the same. Listen, Candy Crush isn't advertised at 8:00 at night on NBC, but people know about it. What Code's saying is that this is going to be for the casual down the road, and that's what Brap's saying. It's not working great now, but it's not. And this is what I've been saying. I've said this forever with Stadia since day one. fun. It's not going away. You guys think that it's just going to disappear and fail. It's not. It may not.
I think Stadia is going to go down within 3 years.
But the casual's not going to make the investment to go ahead and buy a controller and then buy an attachment to attach the phone to the controller.
They already have with it. By the time we get to that casual, they're already going to have the controller in their home. They already have it.
Here's the thing, Mooch. I understand, like, and maybe like for me, I'm all about game ownership, game preservation. All that.
I don't blame you.
And I get what he's saying, like, oh, it's not going away, but I understand that. But at the same time, as this option, these companies want that to be the only option long term. They want it to be the only option, and that's where I take kind of my stance with it, where I will never support it. I
heard some shade. I knew it.
That's just me personally. You know what I'm saying? And again, and I think personally, it didn't take off even in this stage the way that these companies were expecting it to. Right now.
Crap, can I say something to you, Crap?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're probably too young, but I remember this vividly, loud and clear. There was a time in my life where cable didn't exist or internet.
Oh my God! Code. Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you. I remember that time. They said no one will ever pay to watch the Super Bowl, and guess what we're doing now? Go ahead, Code.
So there in my lifetime, MTV made a decision that we're going to be a cable-only channel, and people said that they were crazy because cable was only in about 2% of the homes in the United States. When you are a visionary and when you are making a product for the future, you don't wait until the world catches up with you. You are out ahead of it, and you're not lagging behind. And then everybody else is a Johnny come lately. Now they trying to do what you did because they didn't have the foresight to see it all the way through. Don't mistake that just because it's not like that now, that it's going to be like this little baby thing and it ain't doing what they wanted.
What I would say is there's a lot of things that are like that fail anyway. Right. I mean, like 3D, for instance, like 3D television, like 3D movies, like that was something that kind of came and went. I mean, there's lots of other things too. Just because, people wanted to go a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that it always will. And I'll give a good example. Most of us are trapped in our houses right now. Google Stadia is free, and yet people are buying consoles at a breakneck pace
because it's an option, and that option will always win out. That option will always.
But these companies don't want it to be an option in that long term. And Stadia, it's the only option.
You can't say they don't want it to be an option when they keep giving you the option.
Well, Stadia doesn't. Stadia is like, this is it. Take it or leave it.
Well, I'm talking about Xbox and them. They're heading in the same direction. They don't want to have systems in houses all the time.
I'll say that. I'll go back to this whole thing with cable TV, like Optimus Code said. I mean, even in the early 80s, like nobody wanted cable TV. Nobody wanted to pay to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And fast forward now, and look where we're at. Nobody wanted to, go to Netflix and get movies delivered to you. They wanted to go to Blockbuster Video. So I think that, while most people don't want Stadia, I think the issue with Stadia is that comes out of content. They don't have that killer app.
The problem with Stadia is you got to pay for games that you probably own on another platform.
Well, that's
here's the thing with that argument.
That technology, that's the problem.
The one that Forte said, it irks me a bit because they're coming into the game wicked late, right? Which in the world that they're in, they're actually early, like Code was saying with the technology, but they're late to that. So you're seeing the games that you already own right now show up on Stadia. You're like, I already own that. I'm not buying that again. But listen, this fall,
well, that's not a knock. That's just the truth right now. I play on Stadia.
I know,
but Stadia every weekend.
But hear me out. But this fall, all the new games.
Technology, though.
But this fall, all the new games are coming out on Stadia day and date, and they're caught up. That's what I'm trying to say. They needed this year to catch up. But Madden and all these games are coming out on FIFA. They're all coming out on Stadia day and date. So they're no longer games you own. They're games you haven't bought yet. And that's what I'm saying. Depending on the customer that you are, if you're on the road 3 weeks out of 4 in a month, Stadia is for you if you're a hardcore guy. Because you're not home to play the console.
Nintendo Switch is for you.
I don't think so.
Switch is for you.
I don't think so.
It's got better games, Mooch.
No, Switch is literally the best system for you. Because as long as there is a hardware option for people to buy, streaming will never take off.
Yeah, but I can't get Madden 21 on Switch day and date.
Who said?
So look here,
EA.
We don't know yet.
But I mean, I'm just saying again. You have to look at today, right? So we're all bashing Stadia for today.
We didn't think FIFA was going to be on there, but FIFA finally made it to there.
Right? So there are 8 people on this panel, and all 8 of us have a different opinion about what we would choose when we are on the road. And that's why all of these things will exist.
And that's why they exist. Exactly. I agree with that. Exactly. I agree with that. But let me take it to the super chat. Flaffy, who definitely makes me laugh with this one. How's Mixer doing, by the way, against the competition?
I don't know. They spend millions of dollars on people.
Perfect example of a quality thing, right? Like they have the lowest latency and all this and state of the art this and that. And, it's a platform that's dying.
Yeah, man, it really is.
There was an article on Windows Central.
Hey, there was a 0.2% increase, okay?
0.2, damn.
And everybody else.
Other ones are like 200.
We're all stuck inside the house yet again, and nobody's tuning in extra to watch Mixer.
No.
I hear you.
And didn't they hire, I know they got the blue hair guy, but didn't they hire somebody else too?
Shroud.
Other people?
Yeah.
Shroud exactly.
Remember, they're like, who's next? My answer was, who cares?
Exactly, because it's your granddad. What is it? What do you call it? Your dad streaming?
Yeah, your dad's streaming. Yeah. I got news for you. I'm a dad. Let's do it. JB,
I got a feel Microsoft's going to shut that down within the next year or so.
If I couldn't really argue with you, crap. But
I can't imagine them. Microsoft
now with that kind of.
Since Microsoft went with Google for the new, Microsoft Edge and everything like that, maybe Google and Microsoft are playing well again, and they can really integrate YouTube into the Xbox platform this time instead of like what they did this generation, man.
It's possible.
Real quick, I think they still hate each other.
Yeah, I don't think.
I wouldn't expect to see Game Pass or anything Xbox on Stadia, while that's still around for the next couple of years.
Shout out crap with a nice jab in there. Shout out to JB. JB Golden says, feels weird to say it doesn't work now. xCloud has improved on input lag and a good deal since it started. They both have. They've both gotten very, very good since then. Shout out to Sir X-Man again, who says, remember Sonic versus Mario NES versus Sega Genesis? Sega Genesis had more power, but Nintendo still won with Mario because of the name. Power isn't everything. Thank you, Sir X-Man. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not
Well, hold on. The Genesis was originally came out in '89 and was going against the NES, and that's where the whole Genesis does what Nintendo thing came from, because it was their 16-bit console versus the NES. And then when the Super Nintendo came out, it was actually more powerful and had a lot more like color options and things like that than the.
It was not more powerful.
Yeah. Right. So the Genesis was able to do also thanks to that. Well, they have that.
The Super Nintendo.
The Genesis.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why you always had the faster version of games like the Mortal Kombat version.
Blast processing, right?
Yeah, but it couldn't do the Super Nintendo had the greater graphical fidelity, and so you got closer to the arcade experience, like with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. It looked better because they could display colors a lot better. But the Genesis,
the colors on Super Nintendo were amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, they had that chip as well, right? That I forget what the hell it was called.
Well, that was 80 years ago. But yeah.
Juno 23 says.
I was a Super Nintendo guy, but my older brother had a Genesis, and I was more than happy to play his Genesis too.
Genesis.
I had both, but I was all SNES and NES. I was all Nintendo.
Okay,
I was a Genesis guy.
I stand corrected. Mode 7 chip is what that thing had, so the Genesis could do things faster, but according to this, Super Nintendo could do more complex things. That's why they were able to do like F-Zero and
Mario
Kart and all
that kind of stuff. Yeah, like the 3D
stuff.
Can
I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Code.
So I really want to avoid. I mean, I know we won't really be able to, but I want people to be mindful. It's like the whole Jordan versus LeBron comparison. I've said this, 800.
Oh
boy.
Code Jordan's
well, we already know who the GOAT really is.
Jordan.
Okay,
Jordan's GOAT.
Compare Kobe and LeBron.
Kobe's GOAT.
It doesn't mean that you are trashing the other one when you compliment.
Thank you.
Oh no, you can't. You say that louder, Code, because people in the back didn't hear you.
Man, cuz
it's not binary. Tell them, Code.
It's not binary, man. It is. You can highlight the things that LeBron are good at, and it doesn't mean you trash
losing championships.
You can highlight the things that Kobe is
3-6 in championships.
So, like, it's just because you praise one in one conversation doesn't mean that you are against the other one and all this other trash that you hear people say. We're having honest conversations about strength and weaknesses of each platform.
Absolutely.
No such
Yo,
thing.
Code,
Sure.
I gotta say, when it comes to that, man, the whole world is about extremes right now, and I'm one of the people trying to battle that whole thing. Like, you don't have to be completely left and completely right. Like, whatever happened to taking the good from each side. You know what I'm saying?
You don't have to go one extreme to the other. We can be right in the middle and just be chill.
Respect, brother.
That is true.
Code, I disagree, Code, because PC master rates.
No, you know what?
Game,
It's the thing that I try to always tell people. I'm like, listen, man, if you care about the way something looks, don't buy a console. If you're in that market where you care about the performance,
what do you buy?
Are you buying your system because it looks better than you want the best looking version of a game and you want the best performance? Woo! Why are you looking at a console? If you're that person, baby, go to a PC. Listen,
Where do you go, Forte? Say it again. Where do you go?
Listen, I'm not going down your rabbit hole. I am a person that jumps between everything, and there is reasons I do it. If I want that pristine ability to play my games at a fidelity that I can't get on console, I will do that. But I will buy an Xbox, and I will. I did that for me with my own money. Nobody did that for me.
PC did that for you.
Whatever. So, but the biggest thing people got to realize is you buy a system for what you want the system for. Yeah. But if you're going into a system by buying a system, like going back to the whole $500 and the last thing you got in your pocket, why are you even? That shouldn't even be a thought process on the performance of what that system is. It's always about the games. The games are number one in everything, in everybody's heart. Yeah, and for me, the only reason I'm picking up an Xbox is for the simple fact that I have friends that I want to be able to experience those games with on that platform. Yes. That's my whole reason for buying an Xbox. Not because the games are going to run better and look better. It's because I want to be able to experience stuff with people that I like playing games with. If I just want to play a game and get the best experience, I can do that on a PC. And PlayStation, they don't give you the games on PlayStation on PC for yet. Most of them, not yet at least. But if they do that, it will be the same narrative for them too. But first party is the reason you buy a system, the games, the friends that you play with. That is the reason you should buy a system in the first place. No, then 90% of everything else comes everywhere else. Your friends, this is the one thing people don't realize. Your friends are a big component of where you buy your games at. If your friends get swayed to go to a PlayStation, guess what? If you want to play with those people, you're probably going to get a PlayStation. Even if you don't too much care for the ecosystem, anything like that, your friends become more than anything else. And that's what this next generation is going to come down to. So if you got $500 in your pocket, pick the system that is good for you. Don't be picking it based on the graphical fidelity of the games, because guess what? All this stuff is at a very small delta. The games are going to look good and play great no matter where the hell you are. It comes down to those experiences that you can't get nowhere else and how you feel about those experiences. So stop all the noise about, it's going to look better over here and it's going to look better over here. This is going to be better on this platform. No, who cares about what looks better? How do you want to play your games? If it comes down to you playing the game because of graphics, get a damn PC. Stop complaining about it on console, because that's not going to help you in this whole argument.
Consoles will push the envelope forward, bro.
Forte. So what you're saying
is fine with consoles pushing that. Guess what? SSDs are going to become a standard because of what Sony is doing. I 100% agree with you on that. That is going to be the new standard going forward with PCs. But guess what? PC, in the next year? Within the next year and a half, we'll have something like that on PC. Then what's going to be the argument then?
PC has its own complications that a lot of people just don't want to deal with.
That's fine, but that is fine.
Well, that's the thing, though. But that doesn't
mean you shouldn't demand. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't demand what you want.
Listen, Knox. If you are in it for graphical fidelity and that's what you are buying something for, why are you buying a console? Most people that buy consoles don't care a lick about any of that stuff, and that is about 80% of it's 80% of people buying consoles don't care about that stuff.
Games, they care about games.
They care about games. That's all they care about. Games.
And the ecosystem.
And you need to have those kind of games.
I'm with Knox on this one.
You just need to have those kind of games. And
you're biased. You're biased.
Everybody's loving that Ghost of Tsushima. How is it that
talk about it, Knox?
How is it How is it that in a week where everyone is hating Sony practically for the freaking Last of Us review nonsense? You know what I'm saying? They were hating on them. Microsoft still managed to blow that shit. Microsoft still managed to blow that shit.
I have to say, I'm two different comparisons, though, Knox. The simple fact is, Ghost of Tsushima is a PlayStation exclusive and is not available anywhere else.
Oh,
so where the heck are you going to play that?
And that's great.
That is the reason you buy a PlayStation.
Absolutely.
That's why you buy it. But I'm just saying, if that same game was shown and it was available on a PC, and you talk about graphical fidelity, you in the wrong business.
Whoever said Forte
anywhere else, that is the tipping cap for a person to say I'm getting a PlayStation, and I 100% agree with that. And it's not available. I'm getting a PlayStation 5 for the next God of War because I'm a God of War fan. If they was to release God of War on PC and say it's coming out on PC when the next one come out, you're gonna tell me that
it is a Forte.
You're gonna tell me that those visuals. You're gonna tell me those visuals don't entice people to come over. Absolutely, they do.
I gotta say, hold on.
I wasn't even really interested until I saw some gameplay.
Yes. If it's available on that platform, yes.
But see, Forte, what you were talking about, it holds water when you're talking about graphical fidelity. I get that. But not saying that makes sense is this. There are a lot of people, and I know Crap's one of them, that will not ever, he cares about graphics. He does. He cares how it looks. He loves it.
That's why I upgrade. One of the biggest things reasons I upgrade.
He's not buying a PC.
But PC doesn't exist in my world for gaming.
Right. So he's involved in this conversation very much between which console is going to give him not only the games, but also the games looking and running the best.
Well, that's why I said 80% of us don't care. I didn't say everybody don't care because every platform has their people that love this. But we all talking like the whole platform loves this.
Almost crazy.
Hold on.
About this.
Hold on. Let me read some of these super chats. I am so far. I love the Forte rant, but I got a couple super chats. Hold on one second. Junos23 says, sounds like Blockbuster hating on early Netflix when we were talking about, I think, Stadia and streaming. Let me just get to some of these really quick. I apologize, guys. It's so hard to go back. Y9 Power. I want Assassin's Creed to get away from the Origins era and go to the Cold War days, like spy movies like James Bond and Jason Bourne. Nice. I actually wouldn't mind something.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that called Watch Dogs?
I wouldn't mind that either. JB
have those mechanics. Though.
JB Golden says PC Master troubleshooting. Okay, so there's something for Enrique.
No.
That's true.
Hold on. Junos23 says, does Sony have any good first-party multiplayer games? I mean, we always criticize Xbox for their lack of single-player. I agree. I agree with that, by the way. Even though the numbers are slow, that is one of the best multiplayer.
Uncharted 4?
I can't. Well, that's a stretch. That one's a stretch. But
Predator, guys, come on, you're forgetting the GOAT.
So let's be for real with the difference between Xbox and PlayStation and people and the one of the sites.
Hey, wait, Forte, super chats. We got super chats, man.
Yeah, let me get these super chats out of the way.
I'll get you that now, and I'll explain that. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Forte. Sir X-Man says, how many of you guys have loved a game, but that wasn't graphically beautiful, and you say you haven't, or you haven't, you're lying? I think he's trying to say, and Sir X-Man, if I'm interpreting you wrong, let me know. But I think what you're trying to say is there's other games where I've actually said the game may not be physically or it doesn't look appealing, but at the same time, it's one of the best games I've ever played. And then shout out to the great... Shout out to the great
Adventures, man.
Slow-mo backslap.
And Animal Crossing. Let's be real, man. Great.
It's very true. Slow-mo backslap says pre-built PCs are selling out at Best Buy and Micro Center. You don't need to build your own PC. PC is accessible for the non-technical. Just ask Enrique.
Just ask Enrique.
Very funny.
Let me tell you something. I actually introduced slow-mo backslap to PC MR. So
wow.
Just remember. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be on PC. Woo!
If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be on PC. So what does that mean?
Oh, wow!
And you know what? And I'm not denying that. And you got to talk to your boy.
Hey, Enrique!
About PCMR.
Enrique, if it wasn't for Xbox, I wouldn't be in the PC. Thank you, everybody. I'm over. Thank you. Good night.
Actually, Mooch, true story, Mooch. You put me on PC.
Well, I got to be honest with you. Xbox put me up. Xbox is PC and PC's Xbox.
Exactly. Xbox did this.
Xbox did this.
But the problem with
Finkel
Xbox
is
and PlayStation. So the problem with Xbox and PlayStation is the biggest thing is when it comes to the type of games they make. PlayStation makes these ultra realistic looking games that really make gamers salivate when they watch it. When they see it. When you see Ghost of Tsushima, you feel like you're looking at something that's in a mirror. It's like this looks incredible. Say what?
I'm asking Kofi why he keep letting us pronounce that word wrong.
Oh, Tsushima.
Tsushima.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Hold on, Kofi. What is it?
It's Tsushima.
And it's not Su like SU. It's actually TSU.
Tsushima.
Okay, that's why I don't. That's why I didn't.
I think you know what's funny. He said that in Xbox. You definitely still said it wrong, which was great.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Yo.
I know you're trying.
I think that's the main reason why, because PlayStation, the graphical fidelity that they use, the ultra realistic textures and stuff. Like even when you go back to games like Order 1886, when you look at that game, it's phenomenal. It's the best looking game I've seen. One of the best looking games I've seen on PlayStation, and I still haven't seen Xbox first party do
I enjoyed that shit too.
Right, I've never seen it. And the thing is, Xbox has a completely different template that they go with. The Halo, the Gears style. Gears is probably the most ultra realistic next to Forza that they have, but they don't really dabble in that side of making their games look
even Halo never been ultra realistic looking.
Exactly, none of their games are built like that. So when you see,
show you asteroids, dogs.
So it's not that the Xbox can't do it. It's just that the studio's up to the
ET running in 4K, 120 frames.
Word up.
Wow.
Bag today.
Hey, Noxious, why does it have to be asteroids, man? That's
because it's the ugliest game that I could think of.
Frogger,
Centipede.
8K,
Centipede.
80 frames. Woo! Hey,
I
I can picture Greenberg in his Frogger outfit too, selling that shit. You know what I mean?
This frog.
You guys are savage.
Guabzilla says code, so 360 Mafia owners will get the remaster free via smart delivery. I think he's asking you on that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's trying to be smart. So smart delivery wasn't out for 360 games, so no, they won't.
No, they will not.
If a game comes out on the One X now, and later that game was remastered for the Series X, yeah, they'll get that one for free. He's just trolling.
He's just trolling right there. Shout out to Zilla. He says, GB Golden's back, and he says, been gaming on PC since the early 80s. Works awesome, but if you say you've never had to troubleshoot, I'd say you're a Mac. I think he's making fun of, are you making fun of Mac users? I take offense to that. Nonetheless.
Yeah.
Right? Sir X-Man says, Forte, I want more yelling. Well, he's on the right show. I got to be honest with you guys. You know, I'm almost going to have to, this is interesting. This is one of those situations where I almost have to have a CrossFire part 2 this weekend because we didn't get to all my topics. We only got to like 2 topics. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But the energy was great though, Mooch.
It was great. Thank you, Code. I agree 110%. Guys, it's 9 o'clock here. I want to venture into this other one, but I know, first of all, crap will not stay for the entire segment.
You know me well.
But crap, I tell you, boy, you would have went in on this next one. I'll tell you, I really wanted to get your take on it, but we'll do it on another show.
That's
we'll
bait,
figure
crap.
it. It was bait.
You'll love this one, crap. Come on.
Shout out to JudaZuk. Shout out to Brian Baker. Baker says, "Dang, I missed the show." Brian, don't worry. I'm going to be sending you plenty of links for the next 2 days, showing you where to listen to it. That's what I do. Sir X-Man on the Super Chat says, I'm available for a weekend Crossfire. Sir X-Man's always great. What a great guy. Appreciate that. Guys, awesome show. I'm going to go in reverse order. Just want to say thank you to everybody. The Super Chat was on fire tonight. The chat was on fire tonight. The panel was electric. Just an awesome show tonight. We went over things. And, guys, it was funny. I had a little bit of a pre-show talk in the chat here before we went live. And, they're like, oh, Mooch, you feel that way. Mooch, you feel this way. I go, guys, listen, I think, and this is the way I look at it, and I told Crap this years ago, I love to have a talk show. I love to have conflicting opinions and have a healthy debate about these circumstances. We love gaming. I don't want to just get on here and be like, Code, do you agree with me? Great. Crap, how about you? Brap, everybody in agreement? All right, let's wrap this up. No, that's not what I want to do, right? I want to have a show.
That would make for a terrible show.
It's not a good show. You know, I like to have a good show. So shout out to Slow Mo Backslap, who's also says Forte has a Destiny tramp stamp.
Oh my
You know what? Listen, I gotta.
Wow.
He got the traveler.
Not after
the
these
travelers,
last 2
dog.
weeks.
I got news for you. I gotta get Slow Mo. I don't know if you could do it.
He's got Cade on
I
his
got-
lower back.
I gotta get Slow Mo back on the show.
Xbox says Battletoads is getting a graphic makeover or being canceled. Fingers crossed for canceled.
Oh
Really?
man,
Why you gotta do that, man?
fingers
Because that
crossed.
game looks horrible.
Crap, you got to temper expectations.
Exactly. Why did I got to temper expectations for only Xbox?
You never
stuff?
heard me say that, brother.
Come on, man. Temper my expectations. Damn.
Battletoads.
Ugh.
No, shout out to Slow Mo Backs Up. I want to say to Slow Mo, if you're available, I am very, very sorely missing the Forte Slow Mo exchange. It's almost a show within a show. It's fantastic. So I got to get Slow Mo back on the channel here.
And Slow was always right, by the way.
Of course, he's right.
Well, he's always rightfully wrong.
No, he's always,
Forte.
Forte, he's always right, man. I hate to say it, but he is.
Are you? Oh, this must be a suck up move. I got it.
Well,
what Slow Mo got against you? What Slow Mo got against you right now?
He does everything. I'm basing
He
on
got
the facts.
something against you right now, bro.
The
He
facts.
say what you
Got the
saying.
facts.
He's holding something.
Photographs.
He's holding something against collateral
I
against
don't know.
Brad.
I don't know. Me and Cole might have to talk about it, man. Cole, you know what's going on? Something must be
I
going
do
on.
not, but we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Right. This don't sound right.
I love it.
Mhm.
Let me go in reverse order here, guys, and just say this much. Thank you to everybody. I will start with the great, Optimus Code. Everybody just calls you just Code, right? I almost want to start to call you Professor Code because, I got to be honest with you. You go on everyone's show, and you definitely spread knowledge that we all don't know about. So I want to say this much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being on the show tonight, and I appreciate what you do throughout the day, keeping everybody informed and keeping people in check. I want to say that you are always welcome on this show. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait until you're back again. Can you let people know where they can find you while I promote it on screen?
I appreciate that, Mooch, and I don't care if people can find me or not. If people want to find me, they can. Look here, but I do want to say this, man. I appreciate your show, Mooch. Like, I like the energy. Like you said, the panel was electric. And like all this taking sides, my console, me, and all this, I don't believe in none of that trash. If you a gamer and you love gaming, you go where the games are, and none of these artificial boundaries will stop you. So everybody just keep it gaming.
Facts.
Facts. Appreciate that, Code. Awesome. And I got Slow-Mo with a maybe for next week. So Slow-Mo, I'll talk to you offline about that. I appreciate it. And then I want to say thank you to Kofi. Kofi, honestly, outstanding tonight. Thank you for the insight into Ghost of Tsushima. Am I saying it right? Is it Tsushima? Tsushima. And I got to be honest with you, this is what's great about this show. It's great about podcasting is I've got to meet so many people in the industry, people that work in the industry, and Kofi being this unique part of this gaming pie that I've gotten a chance to learn and hang out with. And I'll tell you something, Kofi, you may say, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. You have rubbed off on a lot of people, and I think a lot of people are now getting into that. They're intimidated by the Japanese culture and language, and you weren't. Or maybe you were, but you took it on head on. And I got to be honest with you. You've gotten me to even look into that. I don't think I'll ever be as fluent as you are. But, that's what's interesting. And like I said, I started playing a lot of the JRPGs and the Japanese developed games in Japanese and using English subtitles. It does put you in the mood, put you in the feel of the game. So I want to say thank you for bringing that out and maybe expanding a few people's just their worlds where they weren't thinking that before. Kofi, let people know where they can find you, and I really appreciate you being here tonight.
Wow, that was a really, really nice words. I really appreciate that. And there's a lot more I want to say maybe when we have more free time about language acquisition, some things I've been through, the struggles, why it was brutal. But guys, you can find me at creative_Kofi on Twitter. I am absent from Twitter right now based on, what I was saying about Last of Us stuff. But I will be back, and I'll be doing translations for, again, Famitsu and Dengeki PlayStation News for new games coming out. Guys, you can also catch me Monday nights Eastern at 7 p.m. on Vitamin G Podcast with my buddy FC Violent and all of us. We're the crossroads for all three gaming platforms. Sorry, PC Master Race. And also Thursdays on Saltiest Gaming Podcast. And then if you like anime and current events, which is kind of affected by, this human malware, as they say on Hardware Unboxed. Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern on oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name, Bloody Knuckles and the Smash podcast.
Awesome, very cool. Shout out to Bloody Knuckles and shout out to FC Violent. Great guys. That definitely they put a lot of work into their channels and their streams as well.
Yes.
So awesome, Kofi. Great to have you here, as I said earlier. And then I've got my buddy here from New York. He's loud, and he's proud, and he works for us, doing civil servant, all kinds of things, making sure the streets of New York are safe. Dean Knox. Dean, honestly, awesome to have you here, brother. Noxie, let people know where they can find you. And listen, same thing with me, man. I'm actually just starting this weekend. I'm trying to work a little bit on some videos. I'm going to try and dabble a little bit. I know people can't wait to see what Sean C's got to say and get back into the rhythm. Let people know where they can find you, man. And thanks for being here tonight.
Man, it's always a pleasure, Mooch, man. You know, I love me some CrossFire, brother. I love the panel. I love the chat. It's on the energy. It's always fucking electric in here, man. And I love it.
Thank you, Knox.
You know, you guys can find me right here on YouTube. You know, in Knox We Trust. I am gonna try to bring that content, man. I really am. Once the shit is all over and
we
done
want Chauncey.
Yes. Chauncey, you gotta represent, man. You know, and at the Knox on Twitter, shoot the shit with me there. And you know, that's how it go, man.
Well, shout out to Knox. I appreciate that. And then I got my brother here, Brap. Enrique, let people know where they can find you, buddy. It is outstanding having you on the show. You and Forte literally going back and forth nonstop. I see when Code was saying something, you were over his shoulder going, yeah, but Code said. Nonetheless, Brap, okay? I appreciate it, buddy. And let people know where they can find you, brother.
You know, Mooch, all I got to say is, No, seriously, seriously, great show, great panel, and great topics as always. By the way, we got a big announcement on Brap. We're going to have Paul from Red Gaming Tech on next Saturday, May 23rd. Definitely want to check that out.
Great.
Yeah. He legit.
Paul's gonna be a great guest, and we're looking forward to discussing gaming and next gen consoles with him. So we'll put out some more information about that. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, Brap_podcast, and definitely check out Basement Radio Game Podcast every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks to my boy Forte and Slimo, who's in the live chat there, or co-host, panel members of the chat, and or it's chat of the panel. So definitely check us out. And all I gotta say is, look, if you want the best gaming experience, just go to PC. That's all I gotta say.
It sounds very clear and concise. That's not so bad at all. Yeah, it's very cool. Enrique, thank you so much, buddy. And then I got Gaming Forte. Forte, you have so many different plugs to do right now for so many shows. I can't even begin, buddy, but I want to say thank you for being here, and your insight is always appreciated.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's always fun being here. Let's go through the plugs real quick. Brap already said one, so we don't need to go down that. But shout out to everybody that shows up to that show. Show's blown up over the last month, and we really appreciate that. We also got Primetime Gaming with Boom. That's on Monday nights at 8 p.m. And then we also got Scumcast tomorrow, maybe at 4, could be at 5. I don't know. Look for Luca's tweet to let you know exactly when that show's going live, and that's always a good time. And then outside of that, man, I just want to say one thing. I love consoles to death. I just really hate when I see conversations about things being more powerful and people really jumping down the throat of people saying, well, this is more powerful than this. If you really care about power, then you're kind of in the wrong area. Honestly, I understand that some people really truly love playing on consoles, and that's a great thing. So I don't want people thinking that I am anti-console because I play on console than most people. I play on console more than I play on PC, honestly. But I just understand that there is a pecking order to that, and PC will always be at the top of that pecking order when it comes to graphical fidelity. So outside of that,
frames.
Well, listen, man. If Destiny ain't 60 frames per second when this new system come out, I won't be buying it. I'll put that out there right now. That's a great point for me.
But Forte, I want to say something real quick. Optimus Code is always hating on PC Master Race. He's always saying PC doesn't have exclusives. But let me tell you something, Code. We do have an exclusive.
Okay. They got an exclusive called 60 frames per second.
Oh gosh.
60 frames per second is a console exclusive. You know why? Because Assassin's Creed said so.
Well, I tell you what. Don't have no other system but a PC, and let's see how happy you be.
No, I can't do that, bro. Can't do that. But it's Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube and Twitter. Check out the channel for some of the good content and stuff. Ghost of Tsushima stuff. I'm not even gonna say it again because I'm gonna make Kofi cry. But Ghost on the channel later on today for some videos, so check that out. And thanks again, Mooch, for always putting on a great show.
Appreciate that, Forte. Thank you. And then I got my brother here, Xbot448. Xbot, I got to be honest with you. I don't think you had to use any of your legal knowledge tonight, really. It wasn't that bad.
Now I was able to sit back, bro.
Yeah, which is great. It's great because you've been on the hot seat. Literally, you've been just drilling all these all these people on the stand. Buddy, listen, I got to be honest with you. You got a huge show tomorrow. I appreciate everything you do, buddy. You're always positive. You're always keeping things excitable, and just energy is flowing through you.
Yeah, bring that energy,
You
man.
do, man. You always do. And I love that about you, Xbot. Let people know where they can find you, brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
Xbox,
definitely.
before you do that, can you give me a hardball question, please, man? I don't even know what it means.
I got a question. I got a question.
He was talking to me, Enrique. You say, yo, when it comes down to it, brother, if you want hardball questions, you are gladly welcome on my channel any point in time, bro. That's all I gotta say, man. Check this out. Next podcast goes live tomorrow, 7 p.m. I don't know if you checked out last week's episode. I had 2 panel members, family members, walked off the show. All because I said that the advertising,
that was fire, Xbot.
The advertising for Inside Xbox was not right, man. It was, they hyped it up too much. And man, you talk about energy. So you have no idea what is going to happen on tomorrow's show. So definitely tune in my YouTube channel, Xbot448, 7 p.m. Eastern. We got the beats, we got the gameplay, and we have the entertaining panel. Let's go.
Nice, Xbot. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, my brother in gaming and podcasting, Crap Gamer. Crap, let people know where they can find you.
Crap Gamer Reviews. Peace out, y'all.
See you, Crap. Thanks for sticking around.
Expectations.
He made it.
Yeah, they're great.
Tempered. They're tempered.
Tempered.
They're great.
I got that T-shirt. Tempered expectations.
Oh, dude, you're onto something, Crap.
I'll buy one of those.
We're gonna do
I'm designing a shirt that says, "Just wait till E3 with 2015 crossed out, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021." Now it says, "Wait for July" on it because that's when it's coming, right, guys? Finally.
Every year, the benefit of that. Every year there's a new shirt. It's great, Crap.
There is. It is. It's like Brown's jersey with quarterbacks on the back, right?
Yeah, or wait till championship. Yeah.
Unlike the Ravens, we'd have a QB problem.
Well, that's all right.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So
sports. All right, nonetheless, guys, we did it. We made it to the end of the show.
Appreciate everyone.
Appreciate it, Crap. Thank you.
Everybody.
Guys, there's my information that you didn't know. You probably already know. There's on the bottom. I want to say thank you so much to the super chat. Thank you guys in the chat. Thank you to the listeners later. You guys all mean so much to the Mooch. Guys, we'll do it again next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. This channel. Hit the like button. Let people know we do this. Let's hit the subscribe button so we get Mooch to 10,000 subscribers. Can we do that? I'm trying to Mooch subs. That's what I do here. Nonetheless, guys, we'll do it again next week. Thanks to the panel. You guys are all phenomenal. Peace out. Game on. Stay inside. Stay healthy. All the good stuff. See you next week. We out.
Peace, baby.
TMR.
Shaboing boing, man. Okay.
Hey, I got to run, but Xbox, send me an invite.
Here. Nonetheless, guys, we'll do it again next week. Thanks to the panel. You guys are all phenomenal. Peace out. Game on. Stay inside. Stay healthy. All the good stuff. See you next week. We out.
Peace, baby.
TMR.
Shaboing boing, man. Okay.
Hey, I got to run, but Xbox, send me an invite.
Here. Nonetheless, guys, we'll do it again next week. Thanks to the panel. You guys are all phenomenal.